Secret stream. Secret second stream. Secret second stream for the second time in one day. Cold open too. No starting soon screen. We're just going for it. Everyone keep calm. Okay, this is like my mood board for this. Let me write that. Layer, new layer. What's up, Dev? You're the first person here. What's up, Keelix? How's it going? What's up, Cora? Yeah, I decided I'm gonna draw Priscilla. So I always do this when I draw. I compile like a mood board of like kind of like the vibe and the color scheme I'm gonna be going for. So it just helps me like see the vision more. I know it sounds so pretentious, but it's just right. Okay. Can't. Sorry, you can totally hear Benji in the background, but who cares? What should you? Mood board. Hey, High Seas. Happy 40 months. Secret art stream. What's up? Pretentious. Yes, there you go. Let me move you guys over here so you're near me. I was gonna ask if any of you have like a good recommendation for like a video we could watch while we do this. I honestly can't remember. So I thought she was from Dark Souls 2, but that must be 1. Looking at the graphics of like the actual in-game picture, I want to say 1. I literally cannot remember though. I feel like it was 2. I don't know why my brain is telling me it was Dark Souls 2. Painted World in the first one, yeah. Okay. She's at the end of the Painted World, that's right. I'm the biggest bird 10-hour version. Oh my god, that's such a good suggestion. Hold on. That's so good. Okay. It's an optional bit, yeah. This is true. So I'm a little bit nervous because I haven't like drawn from like scratch on stream in so long. And it's always nerve-wracking starting out a drawing. Actually, let's do this. But I feel like the scariest part sometimes of starting a drawing is literally just starting it. Sometimes it's really nerve-wracking to do that while live because you just don't know if your hands are gonna cooperate with you on any given day. So the world is kind and its inhabitants peaceful. Has a bunch of blob men with spears, yeah. So I'm just gonna mapping out. So for face, I'm looking at this reference because I actually really like that face for her. I think kind of like sleepy like a daisical. Annabelle, happy 25 months, 6 for resubbing. How's it going? She doesn't really have eyebrows. I'm just kind of mapping this out for my sake right now. How are you guys? How was the brief reprieve from me? Was it good? No, I am not drawing with a mouse. I am using my tablet to do this. Gosh, I can't imagine doing this with a mouse. That would be insane. It's so funny hearing Benji in the other room. I love it. I laid out and ordered Subway. A video series I've been into a lot is Cal more recent videos on nuclear fallout and history. Stuff like Ghost of Fukushima incident, nuclear fallout, possibly killing John Wayne from working on the Conqueror. Whoa. Domo, is that a reference to Curious Curios? Because if so, I know what it is in the context of Curious Curios. Oh, then no. Isn't that like when you take something up your ass? Like, yeah, okay. I only know that because of Benji. It's kind of funny. Yeah, I only know that because of Benji. Look how fucking wonky this face is already. It's so funny. Um, what was I gonna say? I should put something on, huh? It's like just awkward. The ambient noise. Ambient. Can I just... I'm gonna get sucked into tunnel vision really quick, so I better put some fucking YouTube video on. Alright, let me find something. Let's see here. Some sort of video essay. Boop. Should I tweet that I'm live? I guess I said I would. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. All right. What are we gonna listen to? Yeah, this is Priscilla from Dark Souls, Painted World. Video essay. I want like a funny one. What the fuck? Mm. Oh yeah, maybe some Dark Souls. Dark Souls video essay. Oh my god, there's a 5-hour video essay, 1.2 million views by Noah Caldwell. Has anyone watched this? Holy shit. I beat Dark Souls trilogy. All I made was this lousy video essay, 5 hours long. Holy crap. Let's see what some of the comments are. Finally finished a video. It's my favorite video you've ever made. Da 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 da. Let's try it. It's 5 fucking hours long. I mean, that's certainly setting me up for content. Something to watch. Okay, let me screen capture this. Window capture. Okay. We'll put this like, I don't know, like bottom right. Does that feel good? Or should I put it like over, maybe over here and make it bigger? You won't be able to see some of my references. Is that okay? Bottom left is good. Okay, cool. Just let me know if I need to move it or anything. And let me know how audio is and everything. What the fuck? Holy shit, that's funny. Am I gonna get DMCA'd for this song being used? I'm surprised this guy used this song in the video. Oh my god, it's so hard to like fast forward videos that are this long. Hold on. I'll just mute it. Hold on. I know, dude. Serge, you're right. I fucking no excuse. Okay.
Playing Bloodborne, but after 4 hours trying to make it to the second checkpoint, I basically wrote it off as something
Audio
I'd
good?
never even be able to do, compounded by a popular reputation that defines From Software titles mostly in terms of controller smashing difficulty.
Okay,
I
cool.
wrote off the games especially
I'll
hard
probably
on
be
account
pretty
of the
quiet. I'm
community's
usually
running
fairly quiet when I
catchphrase,
draw, but if you
"Get
guys have
good,"
anything you want
an
to talk about,
exhortation
just
to
let me
suck it
know.
up and deal with getting your ass kicked over and over and over again, with a heaping helping of irritating moral judgment if you decide that there are actually better things to do with your time than try to make your little action figure hit the other guy in just the right way. In November 2021, when Dark Souls won the Golden Joystick Award for Ultimate Game of All Time, I was kind of confused. Wasn't Dark Souls, in a fundamental way, kind of a niche title? Wasn't the entire point
Niche.
that only
What's up,
self-ordained
Damien? How's
gods
it
of gaming
going?
can beat it? And that the only reason that I would try it myself is so that those
Oh
people would
no,
have
B,
someone to
really?
laugh at? Ultimate Game of All Time is a hell of a statement to make. As someone trying to make their way through the keystone franchises of the medium, it wasn't just a statement, it was kind of a professional imperative. I'd felt pretty secure most of my life ignoring the hell out of the Dark Souls games as something for other people with wildly different tastes.
Me
Ultimate
too.
Game of All Time, though, that's harder to ignore. It basically necessitates some kind of opinion, agree, disagree. The only bad answers seem to be I don't know and I don't care. So I decided I'd finally give it an in-depth
What's up,
try.
Bunny Tail?
I went in with a lot of loaded expectations. Absolutely none of them were true. Not a single one. I was wrong about the Dark Souls games being arbitrarily difficult. I was wrong about them being primarily about the bragging rights of
I
players.
would like to do a
I was
YouTube video
wrong
about The
about them
Last of
being
Us,
boring
yeah.
or monotone or
Just
any
need to
number of
very
assumptions I
quickly learn
made
how to
based on the reputation they have
edit.
of being the hard
So we'll
ones.
see.
Each of the Dark Souls games is a wildly different experience from one another, but all of them share one fundamental trait that broke down all the barriers that I had assumed would be insurmountable to me. That trait is flexibility. These are some of the most thoughtfully, cleverly mutable action titles I've seen in my entire life. Anyone can play them. They are not remotely
Eyes are funny.
insurmountable. I surmounted them, and pretty much every video I ever made inevitably gets a comment that goes something like, I wanted to watch this, but your disgusting ineptitude at even the most basic elements of gameplay made me literally want to vomit. By the time I was done
Oh
with
yeah,
the
Dark
trilogy,
Souls 2
I
is
wasn't just
arbitrarily
impressed.
difficult, I
was a
agree.
fan, not simply in the will positively name check during conversation way that's regular. I talked about Dark Souls to friends who didn't want to talk about it. I drove my wife up the goddamn wall with my bullshit. I even ordered merch, which is something I've done like twice in the past decade. I felt more enthusiastic and enthralled by these 3 games than really any of the past 3 dozen or more that I've played. I can barely remember a time since I was a teenager that I felt this excited about a game. Another reason why I never imagined that I would really play these games, let alone become completely obsessed with them, is that it seems like anyone who plays Dark Souls and then talks on
Love
the
drawing
internet for a
streams, hell
living ends
yeah!
up making a video essay about them.
We
It
don't
is
talk about DS2.
hopelessly oversaturated. I mean, I remember a few years back when one guy had a negative opinion on Dark Souls 2, another guy countered with a double-length argument in its favor, and then some third jackass shows up to make a 10-hour rebuttal trying to prove once and for all with science that no one is allowed to enjoy Dark Souls 2. Who wants to stick their nose in all of that? In the years since, the pile of print essays, video essays, lore analysis, and bathroom graffiti devoted to Dark Souls has only grown. Well, here's mine. Just toss it on the fucking stack, because I get it now. If you like Dark Souls, it's hard to shut up about Dark Souls, because the act of overcoming the games and getting through
feel like
them
that's so
is
true.
a deeply personal experience to each player. I feel like I really did something, like I did something special and interesting, just like all the many thousands of people who played it before me. My goal then here isn't to say that one game is any better than another, or that any one style of play is correct,
Chat, what's your
or that
favorite
there
Dark
even
Souls
is
game?
a singular Dark Souls experience to be had.
Why is
The
it
beauty of the
Bloodborne?
games is that there isn't any such singular path, any such unifying metric. Each human being who endeavors to see these games through from one end to another
Bloodborne's so fucking
will
good.
face
I mean,
different struggles and
Bloodborne is
overcome
so
those
amazing because
struggles
it's like
uniquely.
a
I
standalone,
want
like
to tell the story of
perfectly
my path. I want to
encapsulated
talk about how these
experience,
games
and I
took
am
my
obsessed with that.
expectations,
It's so
crushed
good.
them, and presented me with an experience much more gorgeously complex than I'd ever guessed from the endless repetition of Get Good. I want to talk about them for the exact same reason as everyone else. People like talking about the experiences that change them. I sure made a lot of people mad when I made a God of War retrospective in which I pretty much refused to use the block button. Playing on a
focus on the
lower
face
difficulty
right now.
accommodated me on this, and I found the game plenty
Only played
difficult
Elden Ring
anyway,
and
essentially
DS3. Oh man,
ignoring
you
this
should go back
key
and play
mechanic.
Dark Souls 1.
I just like
It's
to play
great,
God of War
honestly.
aggressively. And they let
It's
me do it
clunky,
how I
but
wanted by
I
just
feel like
turning
it's
the
so
difficulty
good.
down. That seemed like a
Still.
fine arrangement to me. Infamously, the Dark Souls games do not have an adjustable difficulty on the surface. The first few hours have a difficulty mostly determined by starting class, but very quickly the player can begin investing points in attributes that, alone, mitigate some individual element of the difficulty and, cumulatively, lower the overall difficulty as you go along. I'll talk about it much more later on, but I even played through on the New Game Plus mode, which lets you start over with your earned inventory and point investments. Despite largely doubling the damage output and health totals of most enemies in the game, including bosses, New Game Plus is a cakewalk in comparison to your first time through. It's basically a revenge tour where you get to put out a cigarette in the eyes of every boss who ever looked at you funny the first time around. Your attribute choices gradually, steadily reduce the difficulty. The way death works in the game essentially allows you to collect bonus points and extra levels from your failures and experiments, meaning that if you go in with lower innate player skill and reflexes than other people, you can constantly and adequately mitigate that difference with mechanical power. Consider the most popular kind of Dark Souls challenge run, the Souls Level 1 game. In this mode, which is strictly on the honor system and not part of the explicit design at all, a player chooses not to ever take any attribute points, instead relying on found items and a player's mastery of the in-game systems to survive. It is entirely possible to beat the whole game this way. The appeal of the Souls Level 1 run is that it does create a unified baseline of experience that actually isn't there otherwise. Each player will face the same challenges with the same tools. Some folks will even say that's the real Dark Souls experience, a common refrain in the literally endless arguments that these games generate. Thing is, that baseline has to be created because Dark Souls otherwise has no standard of experience between players. Once players start investing attribute points, they begin facing unpredictable levels of challenge with a widely varying toolset. Not only is the difficulty unique to players based on personal skill going into the game, class and damage output choices further fracture the baseline difficulty of the game. Some bosses are pushovers for casters. Some will utterly stomp a magic user in a way they won't for the sword and board types. Sword and board types struggle to deal elemental damage that some bosses are weak against. Some players invest in high damage output. Some players in durability stats. Some try to balance them, and by the time New Game Plus rolls around, you're likely to be fearsome and durable to the point that even doubling the health of a boss doesn't make them difficult again. To ignore the attribute system for a Soul Level 1 attempt is to ignore the fact that Dark Souls actually does have a variable difficulty. It's just very granular, atomized across several statistics. That
No,
make things just
Priscilla
a
doesn't
tiny,
have
tiny
eyebrows.
bit
She's got
easier
like
for every point you
dragon
invest.
wings. I like
Soul
her
Level
concept
1
art a
is the
lot.
real
Her
Dark
in-game
Souls, only in
model,
that it
I
is
don't think
the
it was high res
single,
enough to
truly standardized way to
showcase
approach the game.
the
Consider,
dragon
though,
wings.
how I
so.
refused to engage with the block mechanic in God of War to make the game a little easier or sensical for myself. Is that any more or less an
Also, if you guys would
unintended
prefer like a
variation than how
funny
Souls Level
video,
1
just let me
playthroughs use
know.
a
We can
mechanical
find
refusal to
anything
create
really.
a harder experience for a player? At the heart of the debate over difficulty is a debate about whether a player should be able to customize a game experience around a developer's intended experience, to bypass certain things for convenience or comfort. To say that Dark Souls has a fixed difficulty, you have to actually ignore the core systems of advancement. Folks online really love to talk about how Dark Souls can't ever have an easy mode because it violates the developer's intention that you struggle to earn your victory. That is almost completely opposite to my experience with Dark Souls 1. The impression I got at almost every turn from the game is that it did want me to win. It wanted me to keep going. And if I said to the game, hey man, I sure could use another couple hundred hit points, all I had to do was go grinding for a time or even just struggle and fail, and my wish would be granted. It pleases people to overemphasize the difficulty because it reflects better on their victory, imbues it with more meaning. I'm not setting out to deliberately burst anyone's bubble, but even I, the lowliest of stoners, beat this game. And I did it because the essential mechanics of Dark Souls 1 actually supported it
Video
and wanted me to
essayist
try.
accent.
The hilarious thing
That's
is
so
that Dark
good.
Souls 1 did teach me, finally, to block. I didn't do it because I had to, though. I did it because I wanted to. I did it because I was persuaded by how much easier it made the basics of combat. Early on, you get a pretty good shield. I mean, within the first, hour of play. I looked at the stats and I did a double take. Surely it didn't actually block 95% of all incoming physical damage, with other shields that went up to a full 100% reduction. Well, they do. Your stamina gauge can be used for both attack and defense. You can spend to make a swing, you can spend to take a swing. Especially on early game enemies, if they attack you while you're blocking, it causes a kind of recoil animation. allowing a window for you to make a safe aggression against them. The shield gave me confidence in the early game that I desperately needed. Yeah, this is a game where you die in just a couple hits, but those hits have to break through. By blocking, you can actually take many, many more hits than your health pool would otherwise allow. Through blocking, enemies are rendered more vulnerable during their stagger animation. There are other playstyles that offer opportunities for bigger damage attacks or more acrobatic and exciting combat approaches, but the basic and simple sword and board setup is another example of difficulty being atomized across smaller advancement choices, as opposed to being condensed into a menu choice. One-handed with shield is the most fundamentally conservative choice going into combat. Not politically, obviously, but conservative in its unwillingness to risk much of anything. Big attacks can knock you down through your shield, staggering you off balance, but this is even mitigated by a secondary statistic called poise. Heavier armors have higher poise, but there are rings in the game that allow for massive poise bonuses, allowing light and medium armors to be more effective than their class in direct melee, and also other rings that increase carry weight in general, allowing you to use heavy armors without the intended disadvantages to your roll speed and its utility. The game is differently difficult in a myriad of ways and offers an equally gigantic array of trinkets and mechanics that reduce and mitigate those difficulties at every turn. Choice of starting class is a big part of that. I'd heard and read that casters, either arcane or divine, had a pretty easy go of it compared to pure melee builds, but you have to invest in attributes related to those disciplines. There is a third caster choice, Pyromancer. Pyromancers cast from a flame held in the hand, and instead of being tied to a statistic,
never done a magic
damage
build
is
in a
scaled
Souls
based purely
game.
off of how much you upgrade the flame.
I
It
always
takes as much
go,
to level the flame to its absolute
what's it
maximum
called?
as
Quality
to level
build?
an attribute close to its functional maximum, so what differentiates it? Because it runs in parallel to the attribute advancement system, instead of being integrated with it. Every time you invest a point in a stat, it gets more expensive to purchase the next one. This is a shoehorn mechanic that prevents a player from picking a spot and just grinding it into the ground. It's fine to grind a few levels here and there, but you need to move on to bigger and more worthy monsters to keep up with the price after a while. Pyromancy's independence from that means that even if you've been over-leveling like I had, it remains comparatively inexpensive to keep boosting the Pyromancy flame. Less than the cost of a level, mostly, with the exception of early in the game and also the last couple investments. So for my actual stats, I focused on just 3: vitality, stamina, and strength. One made me more durable, one made me more flexible in how I could attack and defend, and the other made it so that with the right weapon, I was cutting enemies down in just a couple swings, as they had done to me in the early game. I was a warrior.
What is happening? Bree drawing
primarily,
while playing
but
Dark
the
Souls,
Pyromancy
drawing and
flame
seeing
did
Dark
essentially free
Souls,
bonus damage
playing
at
Dark
range
Souls
for
tiny while
powerful
looking at
enemies
Big
I was
Draw.
otherwise
I'm
struggling with in
drawing,
toe-to-toe
and we're watching a
encounters.
Dark Souls video
Pyromancy
essay.
allowed me to further alter the balance of difficulty
Very
in my
confusing, right?
favor. Another tool to counter and negate certain aspects of the challenge. There was no condensed menu option for easy, but I found the easier option nonetheless. I ended up feeling so comfortable with the build that when I went on to Dark Souls 2, I abandoned Pyromancy and went for an all-melee build instead, taking the lessons I learned with the advantage I originally had and trying to see how I did along a slightly different path to victory. I ended up very happy with each of the 3 classes and
Video
approaches
novel,
I chose in each of the
true.
3 games.
You're
For
not
Dark Souls
wrong.
1, I chose a class and a method of play that kept me safer and better protected than the other approaches. By the time New Game Plus was over, I had a list of completely different things I was interested in trying.
Dear
I
God,
was
look at
hooked
the
by
way
them.
this is so.
I'm not
I
sure if I would
always
have reached that point
flip your
without
canvases,
having had a
people.
back pocket full of fireballs right from the get-go.
Flip your canvases,
Each of the
people.
Dark Souls games is relatively independent of the others, and they can
What is
basically
this
be played
nose
in any order,
doing?
but I think if you've never played them before, it's advantageous to start from the start with a remastered version of the first game. Neither of the subsequent games are so interested in using the progression of bosses as an educational experience. Dark Souls 1 will train a player in
The
boss
flipped
templates
canvas
and combat
shows the true
encounters
self.
that the subsequent 2 games
Absolutely.
will continually experiment
God,
with and
true.
riff off of. It'll train a player in these things with a naturally escalating progression, carefully layering one after another as a series of lessons. If you remember them that way going forward, as lessons, the complexity of future bosses is made a little bit more immediately plain than if you began with one of the other 2 games. And conversely, if you start with those, these early encounters may seem quaint and underwhelming by comparison. The very first boss is in the tutorial area, the Asylum Demon. Dark Souls 1 and 3 have what are exit exam boss fights, big challenges that perch right on top of the basic tutorializing about movement and attack that you'd expect. The first thing the Asylum Demon tries to teach you is to run. You need to run past it, complete the rest of the tutorial, and then return to be able to do significant damage to it. When you come back, you attack it from above, getting a free head start on damage. Unless you chose black firebombs as your starting gift. Then you can just kill him right away, no problem. Which is another important lesson in itself. Many enemies, including the biggest, have hidden vulnerabilities. Let's fast forward, way late into the game, when you're trying to unlock the demon ruins where the kingdom began to fall and pyromancy was born. You need to kill a boss called Ceaseless Discharge, a lava-spewing mountain that deals tremendously huge, almost instantly lethal fire damage. You can hide and plink him with hundreds of arrows, or give yourself a migraine trying to fight him head-on. Or you can run away, like they taught you back in the tutorial. It tries to follow you along a narrow cliff face, and when you finally retreat all the way back to the boss arena entrance, it loses its grip. All you have to do then is give him a stern tap on the knuckles, and he'll tumble to his death. How do you know you're supposed to run away? Because it is miserable to fight him head-on, and you barely dent him with regular attacks. Just like trying to fight the asylum demon.
How do you do layers? I typically don't when I'm painting.
Method is an unfair shortcut.
I have a way easier time drawing when I work on one layer. I'll usually do a separate layer for like the hair when I start to do that and everything, but or like the body or like things I'm kind of trying to draw behind the face, but
sure. Why not?
I really like working on one layer. I used to not be like that at all, but
Ceaseless Discharge isn't a boss as much as he is a late game trick question. Are you now too powerful to demonstrate the humility you had in the game's early hours? I don't think the folks who fight this boss in direct combat are doing it the right way. I think they're just being stubborn. And the game is so flexible that it will accommodate also the stubborn answer, even when the more straightforwardly correct choice is simply to run. Or consider the next boss in order after the asylum demon. At the high parapet of the castle wall, you meet the Taurus demon, a minotaur.
I leaned that way too lately. I picked it up from Siren. Just dupe the layers I go. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly the correct strategy.
I find it like I feel like I really don't like how my art turns out when I try to do line art and then paint under the line art. It's like my brain doesn't work that way for whatever reason. I don't know why.
Jumping attack, which you also just
also Priscilla kind of has like eyeliner.
You have to get it then to chase you the other direction and dodge
in
around
her
its legs and
in-game
attacks to
model. She
reset
kind of has
the
like
series
a
of
smoky
actions.
eyeliner
And
vibe
that's
going
also
on.
not exactly how I killed him either. This happens, I would guess, rarely, but the Taurus demon fight actually taught me something else too,
Ossified
because of the
dragon
way
girl,
that I won it.
exactly.
Posthumously. Trying to get around his tree trunk legs, I was sent tumbling over the side of the castle walls. Seconds later, the Taurus demon also slips and falls. Victory counts. When I come back to retrieve my lost souls, the winnings from the Minotaur have been added to the stack, and he is nowhere to be found. The lesson is this. You are gonna die in some stupid, cheap
let me turn
ways
off that
playing
bot
this
from
game.
this sponsored
It will
stream.
occasionally do things that seem deeply unfair.
No.
You can flip that dynamic. You can use the game's various traps, pitfalls, and quirks of level design to try to
There we
murder
go.
the hell out of other creatures. Sometimes they'll kill themselves just trying to get to you. So even in its jank and even in its cheapness, there is an inherent fairness to Dark Souls. All inhabitants of this world are at risk, not just of a glorious death by combat, but of suffering a
Bye,
banana
Ices,
peel
take care.
pratfall that ends up being extremely fatal. If you choose the black firebombs, if you manage to trip the Taurus demon into taking a fall, these are unmarked and auxiliary paths to victory, but they're equally
Hey, there she
valid.
is.
I think that's a
There's
major
Priscilla.
component of what's kind of fun about the high baseline difficulty of the games. Anything that gets you through it is a valid choice. I never got quite so desperate to try,
She
but you
kinda
can
has, like,
even
a
throw
cute
piles
button
of
nose,
shit at
actually.
bosses to poison them to death, slowly. There's no
Her
such thing as a
in-game
dirty
model
trick in Dark
has
Souls.
a
They're
very
all
cute,
mean
like,
and all
buttony-
dirty. The important thing is that you're trickier than
buttony
the
nose.
obstacles being thrown against you. There's an early game boss whose entire job is to truly cement the idea of the difficulty in this game sometimes being cruel
Butt
and
nose.
to challenge the player to be creative in their desperation. The Capra Demon is an infamous crucible of progress for the Dark Souls franchise. You have a tiny box to fight him in, he swings wide and he swings deadly, and he starts out with 2 companion dogs whose entire purpose is to force you to panic and catch you flat-footed. It is easy to die
Oh my God,
in the
I
first
hated Capra
10 or
Demon.
20 seconds of stepping into the arena. There's a broken staircase.
I
which
think
is
I had
the
to get
only
Benji to
source
help
of
me with
defense.
Capra
You can
Demon.
travel up the stairs and catch a quick few seconds
'Cause I was
before
getting
the demon follows you.
frustrated.
This can also give you an opportunity you need to get the dogs out of the way. Pyromancy helped in the Capra Demon fight, eating his health down at a distance, but there's no such thing as a mana bar. Magic is handled D&D style with a set number of uses per rest. So, after a while, I had to get up close and seal the deal. I died over a dozen times. And then, at last, I found myself with a tenuous advantage. I pressed it, blocked a frightening attack that seems like it shouldn't have even been blockable, pressed the advantage again, and the demon died. I won. I was shaking. My heart was racing. I felt on a very animal level that I had prevailed over danger, even though it was completely the smoke and mirrors of my own imagination. That was the moment that Dark Souls hooked me completely. There was a lot I had been enjoying, from the bleak and melancholy tone to the beautiful art direction to the intensely clever level design, but none of it had struck me as completely novel
She
or
has kind
totally
of like
unfamiliar yet.
winged
I
eyebrows.
was
I'm gonna
waiting
try
for the
to
thing that made the
do
game truly
this.
special. In my victory over the Capra Demon, I realized that the special thing wasn't inherent to the world of the game itself alone. What made it special was its ability to take all those things, the tone of the setting, the opaqueness of the storytelling, the hostility of the environment, and intertwine them into a series of combat encounters that are emotionally provocative in unexpected ways. I feel emotions in games in a similar way to passive media a lot of the time. I relate to characters, I appreciate the visual art, I'm invested in the narrative stakes. In Dark Souls, there is no player character. It's just you. You in this sad, strange, murderous little world, trying to make your way and understand your place in it. Much later on, in the DLC area, you meet an old giant named Hakai Go. He mostly does wood carvings these days, but he'll shoot a dragon out of the sky for you for old time's sake. When he does, he reminisces about the ancient war that he fought alongside Gwyn, the boss of the game and lord of this stagnant world, against the mostly now extinct dragons. Go says, exhilaration, pride, hatred, rage, the dragons teased out our dearest emotions. Thou will understand one day. At thy twilight, old thoughts return in great waves of nostalgia. This is the guiding design thesis for the Dark Souls trilogy as a whole. In fooling the brain, in forcing it to behave as if it actually were in danger. These memories of grand climactic battles are seared in with the same sense of importance as an actual memory of fight or flight. In a certain sense, I'm the game being played. The deep animal
Oh my god,
portions of
it's
my brain
me.
are being
I'm the
activated
game being
and
played.
exercised in ways that are deeply, shockingly satisfying. Obviously, I'm not saying that it blurs the line between fantasy and reality. It's very obviously just a game, but that is what is so impressive about what's going on here. Despite being clearly just a dark and bloody cartoon, my hands shake and my body sweats, and I am transported into a mental space of fearful desperation mixed with exhilarating triumph. It teases out my dearest emotions. I
It
have
was
never been
inside
so
you all
shocked
along.
to have won as when I beat the Capra Demon. I figured this game was going to be impossible, and the first couple times I fought this guy, I pessimistically guessed that this was going to be the part that I got stuck on and gave up on. Instead, each attempt made me feel like it was more and more possible, despite the loss, despite the failure. I wanted to keep trying, and it worked. The Capra Demon feels, at first, unfair, and it is by design. The odds are stacked impressively against you, however the odds are not zero, not even close. What's happening is that Dark Souls is operating at the extreme peaks and valleys of what video games, as a medium, are able to artistically evoke. The opening cutscene talks about mythic dichotomies, oppositional pairs held in eternal flux, the fire and the dark, humanity and soul, life and death. Hakai Go spoke of them too. Exhilaration and pride are paired with hatred and rage. To evoke positively, the game first seeks to provoke negatively. By creating deep, deep valleys of despair and anger, an opportunity is made for the player to swing back out of those feelings with equal force, to pierce through the gloom into a stratosphere of brilliant sunlight. The Capra Demon doesn't teach any particular mechanic. It teaches, instead, that victories and failures are most compelling when separated by the thinnest of membranes, life and death balanced along the edge of a knife. It's not just the bosses that are lethal either. The
good
thing
detail.
that makes these
What am
games
I
so
doing?
famously hard is that each and every enemy is lethal in its own way. There aren't any effortless creatures. Even the weakest among them are designed to avenge themselves on players who aren't paying close enough attention or giving them enough respect. The Undead Burg, the game's first real area, is famous for its clever utility as an expanded tutorial area, making each encounter in sequence more challenging and complex than the last, demanding that a player figure out a way to navigate a majority of those challenges before even letting them face the tourist demon. I
Among.
spent probably 6 cumulative hours
Why
in
is
the
that so
Undead
funny?
Burg. Similar, very similar
Among.
to my experience with Bloodborne,
Among
actually.
Us.
The difference that allowed me to keep going
guys
here,
like
where I
Among
just
Us?
gave up on Bloodborne, is the comparative slowness of combat. In Bloodborne, there's no blocking. You just attack and you dodge. It's meant to be aggressive and acrobatic, which is cool and fine, but also gives the impression that it's possible to be
I already
too
really like how
slow
this
or
is
too
coming
clumsy
out
as a player
a lot,
to
a lot, a
actually
lot.
succeed at all in the game. Dark Souls
What you
has
guys
combat
think so
system
far?
where, instead, it feels like a constant exchange
Hi,
of
Rogue.
individual actions, if-then statements, a dialogue of violence, not just a frantic whirl. It took me a while to understand that, to stop playing it as if it was based on reflexes, because it's actually based more on choice. Choice is so much more compelling than pure reflex. When I came through on New Game Plus, I kind of marveled that the Undead Burg gave me as much trouble as it had. That is because I had learned to speak, at last, in the specific dialect of Dark Souls violence. It's not about an exchange of numbers, damage for damage, hoping their numbers go down before yours. It's about an exchange of animations. The undead attacks, and if it succeeds and I am staggered, he will be able to press the attack with another one. If I block, he staggers instead. I am afforded the aggression. I get the follow-up attack. It's also possible to parry.
I drank the Among Us potion after 3 a.m. and turned into an imposter.
But that
Not
takes some real
clickbait.
finesse and skill. I've been told that looking at the elbows of
I
enemies
stuck an
is the
Among
best
Us
way to
in my
tell when
anus.
the elbow moves forward, you parry, but I struggled to pay that kind of
find out what
minute
happened.
attention to have those sort of fast reflexes. Blocking works so much more easily and
Stupid.
consistently, since if you incorrectly time the parry, the enemy gets to
Bro?
kill the attack anyway, and you take full damage. Some enemies, like spearmen, can block and attack at the same time. You need to get behind them, or else time your attack in the brief window after they move their shield to make their own attack. You can hit them before that attack lands if you have a fast weapon, or you can block the spear attack and then counterattack their stagger. It takes patience, not a lot of patience, you just have to be willing to wait for your window of opportunity. Because animations matter more than numbers. That's why the game is completely possible to beat on Soul Level 1, because health and such is functionally just a margin of error. Proper mastery of the systems means that you don't really interact much with your health pool at all, something that From Software really experimented in a lot with their subsequent title Sekiro.
She's like a dragon
I'm not a master of these
necklace or some
systems.
shit.
That's why I make it a priority for my health bar to stretch halfway across the goddamn screen. Weapons being big and doing
Just
big
like me for
numbers
real.
isn't so much about the numeric damage as it is about how many hits you have to exchange before moving on. Killing enemies in 1 or 2 hits isn't just about being powerful. It's about speed and safety. It's about how this reduces your exposure to danger. In the Undead Burg, starting characters have to trade a couple hits to down enemies, which is a major burden on the player until the player figures out how to slow down, take a deep breath, and turn that back and forth to their advantage. And once you have learned that, try it on a group of 4 of them at once, or when they're throwing bombs at you, or any number of rude and cheap configurations of enemies. That's fine, though, because getting hit and taking damage are 2 slightly different propositions. If the enemy does X, then I counter with Y, or maybe Z. If the enemy does Z, then I roll to the side and try X. Games that I consider extremely insurmountably hard usually have some sort of component of pure reflex that I just struggle with all the time. Dark Souls 1 isn't that way at all. In fact, the thing that helped me through it was when I realized I should be slowing down, making the second or third moves in the fight instead of trying to win with the first. By the time we get to Dark Souls 3, reflex is a factor. Dark Souls 1 and 2, though, make few such demands. I spent 6 hours on Undead Burg, happily, where I was miserable with Bloodborne's first area, because I was convinced that the issue wasn't my skill, it was just my understanding. Being slow, being clumsy, that wasn't my problem. The game was actually quite willing to work with me on those 2 things. I was just making the incorrect choices. When presented with X, I was just spamming X back. I was thinking about numbers. I wasn't thinking about animations. I wasn't imaginatively participating in the fight as I should have been. There's an absolutely huge number of weapons in the game, all distinct. Why? Especially when numerically they all perform similarly when scaled along with the player's attributes. Because they move differently, because they have different timings of attack and defense, different methodologies of play. Because when presented with a situation, there is no correct response, only a correct rhythm. Your answer has to be spoken in dialogue, or else the enemy will speak over you, and that is when you take damage. Pyromancer class begins with a single-handed axe, and while I tried some other weapons, I enjoyed the starting setup so much that I used it for most of the rest of the game.
Oh, I kind of
Axes
love
scale
this,
exclusively
like how
and
this
quite
is
well with
turning
strength.
out.
No other point
I
investments
don't know,
needed.
this color
They do a
palette
higher
is
than
like
average
speaking
damage
to
at moderate
me.
speeds. Swords are faster, yes, but two-handed swords are slower, and two-handed axes are even slower than that. I take a cut to my damage per
Back
swing
to the
going one-handed,
fist.
but I'm less vulnerable in two key ways. I have the shield in my other hand, that's a significant protection, and I also recover from my own attacks quickly enough to respond to multiple enemies or to aggressive enemy attacks. It is tempting to do as much damage as possible per swing, and in New Game Plus I experimented with that a lot, but it's not really about numbers, it's about animations. And the recovery from big two-handed attacks meant that I was less flexible in responding to enemy animations, more committed to my own animations after I pressed the button. The axe felt like a nice improvement over a sword without sacrificing the advantages inherent in a smaller weapon. There are no wrong answers across the Dark Souls trilogy, across dozens of answers, and any weapon that scales with strength or dexterity or both can be further modified with elemental damage that scales instead with a casting attribute for the casting classes. Elemental damage is kind of a big deal, something that gets explained early on in a very early boss fight, which also features the first instance of intentional co-op. The Belfry Gargoyles is one of my favorite fights in the game. It's scenic,
She
it's
looks
on
so
theme, it's
ethereal.
beautifully animated,
She's
and
an
it's
angel,
hard as hell.
love.
It's a 2-on-1
It's
fight.
not Priscilla,
First,
it's
just
an angel.
one extremely powerful flying middle beast, and then it's joined 30 seconds
sorry.
later by another one of equal strength. To even the odds,
Don't
you
make
can
that
summon
face,
Solaire
dude.
of Astra, a friendly sun worshipper who is the subject of many excellent memes. With Solaire on your side, now it's a brawl, the first big high-stakes brawl in the game. Co-op fights in Dark Souls have a compelling mechanic, though. For every companion that the primary player brings with them, NPC or human, boss health is extended by 50%. So if you bring the maximum of 2 support spirits, boss health is doubled. Even on New Game Plus, where it's already doubled, so there it's more like a quadrupling. This still advantages the player because not being the sole subject of the boss's aggression is just transformative of the experience, but it also makes it so that it's not an instant key to victory because of the scaling. There's a sentiment among Dark Souls fans that you've only technically beaten a boss or played the game correctly if you beat them alone, but the design feels like it runs so contrary to that so much of the time. Solaire is, quite obviously, an intended component of the Belfry Gargoyles fight. NPC side quests sometimes don't even progress if you don't summon them for various fights. This distraction of a co-op NPC or player is invaluable to me to
British
whittling down a
so
boss's
showing
health,
some
but the health scaling
appreciation
mechanic
in
means that
it.
each player will have to maintain their focus for longer. I feel like the fights in Dark Souls are more intense, more dynamic, with more players and more NPCs on the field.
I feel
Facing the boss
offended.
alone, dealing with being the sole focus of its aggression,
Sounds like a
sure,
personal
that is
problem. I
impressive,
don't
and it
know.
feels impressive when you manage it, but it's not mandatory, and in some cases, clearly not even the broad intention of an individual fight. People make a huge deal about trying to minimize and belittle the ways that other people play these games, and that is certainly a major part of why I didn't really want to do a Dark Souls video before I played the games and realized that I could not shut up about them if I tried. I'm probably going to have to hear it for the next 10 years or more about what a coward, idiot, and moral failure I am for saying that it's fine to summon help for boss fights, among other things, and we haven't even started talking about how much I actually loved my time with Dark Souls 2. Like anything else in the game, co-op is an optional element that modulates the difficulty. Just like the choice to wield one-handed weapons or two-handed weapons, to use magic or not, to bother investing in dexterity enough to use the bow mechanic. No one is watching you. No one cares. Not actually.
It's
Not even
Priscilla.
the people who
Yeah.
scream online about it because they're just scared of having their important victory diminished by other people's more casual joy.
I get really
When it
fucking
comes to
weird when I'm
beating
in
the
flow
Dark Souls
state,
games,
so
get it
apologies
any
in
way you can.
advance. But
It
like,
seems to me more disrespectful of the
very
developers' intentions to
creepy.
ignore all the help that the games give to players out of a sense of pride than to just, allow a multifaceted game to have as many facets as it pleases.
gamer
If you fight the
state.
gargoyles alone,
My ass hurts
2-on-1,
from sitting at this
it's actually
fucking
a
desk.
faster fight. You do more damage, you take more damage. It's over one way or another pretty quick. Co-op style, 2-on-2. Everything's split up and spread out. You do less damage, you have to make more attacks, you actually have more exposure It's just that you don't have to deal with being the sole focus of 2 goddamn gargoyles. This is where elemental damage comes into play. These gargoyles are weak to lightning, and a rare item you recently may have found adds that damage to your weapon. If you die, though, that item is gone. You only get a couple of tries to get it right. Is the lightning damage more useful for solo play, to do maximum damage, or co-op play, where it helps eat into the expanded health pool of the bosses?
Breeze doing commissions
Hard to
again,
answer,
she told
right?
me.
Because it's a matter
Don't make
of
up
choice.
lies!
There is no better, just whatever makes more sense to you as an individual. You're given a situation. These 2 flying jerks are going to murder you when you step out on this rooftop.
Nose
to solve
looks
this
kind of
conundrum,
crooked.
you are given a huge
fix
variety of tools, and if one thing doesn't work, come back and try something else. In other later games and boss fights, you'll find people saying some fights are significantly easier when you don't summon because of the health extension. It's all a matter of preference, not a matter of honor. History will not remember your bravery for killing every boss solo, because this is, at the end of the day, a game. We are here to have fun, experience joy on some level.
Experience
The way
tranquility.
people talk about the Dark Souls games made me assume that having fun and goofing around wasn't part of it at all. I shouldn't have listened to the players. I needed to listen to what the game itself told me, where over and over it says, if you need help, take help, get weird with it. To be fair, though, there is one encounter that I played where I did feel like I kind of cheated myself out of the experience, at least a little bit. The most famous boss encounter in Dark Souls 1 is the Ornstein and Smough encounter, a balanced pair of bosses where you have a fast, single-focus attacker paired with a giant area of effect bruiser backing him up from behind. I've been looking forward to Ornstein and Smough all game long. They were representative of the entire art style, the entire aesthetic. I summoned another actual player to help me instead of just the NPC because I assumed I was going to get my ass kicked. And then this guy does an outrageous amount of damage. I mean, about fully 4 times as much damage per swing as I did. So, really, he killed Ornstein and Smough while I offered my moral support. You can't reset the encounter if you win like you can when you die. This was my one chance to experience this famous battle, and it was over in like 45 seconds. It was the one moment of frustrating anticlimax I had in the game, frustrating in a more deeply unsatisfying way than the frustration of getting stuck on a boss and banging your head into it over and over again. Without a struggle, it didn't really mean anything. I was robbed of both the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat. I just got a check mark that says pass. Funny thing, though, is that I was paired with this exact player again later in my playthrough, and I was extremely grateful he was there. The longest boss fight in the game, and one of the hardest ones for a build like mine that doesn't do huge amounts of damage per swing, is one of the most narratively interesting. At the bottom of the whole kingdom, not quite the absolute bottom, but close enough, is a drowned city called New Londo.
I am
It is drowned
drawing
because in the
Priscilla
depths of this
from Dark
town is a
Souls.
tear in the
You see
fabric of
here.
reality, a hole to the abyssal void where humanity came from.
I should
When they say
probably
void,
save
they mean it. The city
before
just
I
trails off
forget
into a
to save.
featureless
Here, one
black
sec.
nothing. It's kind of frightening. You fall deep into the nothing, and down there are the 4 kings, ancient lords who sought power and knowledge in the abyss and were lost instead. They hover above a black mirrored plane, one king about every 30 seconds or so, which is manageable if you kill them fast enough, but can spiral completely out of control quickly if you fall out of pace with their arrival and let them gang up on you. There's an NPC summon, but she isn't too useful. She doesn't really do enough extra damage to
gonna
negate
post
the
this
extra half a
on
health bar
Twitter
that every king has.
just to show what we're
After
doing.
10 or so attempts, and a very annoying sprint through enemies that takes almost 5 minutes to reset the fight, I just wanted out. I wanted done. And here comes Mr. Murderator with his fancy sword, just the hero I need. With this guy helping, we stayed ahead of the reinforcement curve. We killed each king individually as it came, and it didn't feel like cheating. This was exactly the way the encounter is designed to go. I just really wasn't mechanically prepared for it, and this guy was. I had struggled, then I won. I got the full experience. I know I wouldn't have minded the help on Ornstein and Smough so much either if it hadn't have been my first try. I just didn't think that I could take them on my own, so I didn't even spare a single round to try. I might have sold myself a little short there, which goes to show you that any advice you get and any advice you give about these games is not 100% true all the time, and certainly not true for 100% of people. Not even my own advice from myself. If you get stuck, there are a lot of things you can reconfigure, many approaches to trying again. Don't be afraid of getting stuck. Because there is something much worse than trying again and again and again, and that's not having to actually try at all. When people get defensive and flustered about the idea of an easy mode for Dark Souls, I think it's that flattening of the peaks and valleys of victory and defeat that they're primarily objecting to. The idea that you can make the game too frictionless and, without friction, deny it the weight and meaning that it's capable of expressing. The flaw with that argument is that this is already possible in Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3. Whether it's the New Game Plus Revenge Tour or an overpowered summon, Dark Souls is already mutable to the point of creating systems that would, numerically, qualify as an easy mode. This guy doing 4 times as much damage as I
Hey,
did
Chin
on the
Dimple.
Ornstein Smo fight.
Welcome. Happy 6
easy,
months.
flat out, in exactly the same way an easy mode typically would. It rebalances the numbers.
Ooh,
in the
favorite
player's
childhood
favor,
snack?
reducing the
That's
threshold for
hard
victory.
to choose.
I don't think the question is whether a Dark Souls title should have an easy mode, because it essentially already does. The question is how to formalize it, how to anticipate what is easiest for the largest amount of people, as opposed to fragmenting the things that mitigate and negate difficulty across 1,000 tiny choices. And that is a question I am not sure how to answer. I can't fucking stand all the self-aggrandizing gatekeeping that people do with this series, but the question is more complex than it appears on the surface, because the genius of these games is largely in how they allow each player to define the difficulty for themselves. I think that's the core element of what annoys me so much about the get good mentality, and as a catchphrase specifically, because it suggests that there's just a general level of competency you either hit or you don't. It actually completely bypasses the methodology by which you could improve your player skill at the game. Get good assumes you just suck, flatly, broadly. Just get better, you dumb asshole. The game never says anything like that to you. Not once, not even close. If you internalize, like I had, the idea that you're just a bad and you just need to get good,
hard.
you avoid both the questions that the game is asking and murdering you all the time, and the answers you could give to thwart the murdering. Here's what the game actually says to you. If you tell me the ways you're struggling, specifically, clearly, I will give you all the tools you need to negate
I used to
those
really
things.
like pizza lunch.
So let's break down the ways in which I suck at the game from a generalized judgment into a more specific set of statements. Item 1. I'm slow to react, and I get hit a lot. The provided solution from the game itself. Just get a shield that allows you to get hit constantly.
Rank the
Penalty-free,
Lunchables?
and will
Oh
also
man,
even
pizza's
provide
top.
telegraphed windows of counterattack.
Like,
Item
pizza's
2.
top,
I am
right?
intimidated by the
It's
big
gotta be
guys, and I
top.
panic when they consume me exclusively. The provided solution. Either human or NPC summon
Best
to
and which
allow
was
me
worse?
breaks
Okay,
in the
I
danger to
hate the
regain
deli
my
meat
composure and to
Lunchable
find
with
an
the crackers
advantage
and the
in which to
cheese.
press. Item 3.
I didn't like that one. The
Sometimes the
ham
boss
grossed
fights
me
go on
out.
for
I got
so
too many
long
gross,
that I get
like,
exhausted and I lose
ham ones
focus.
in my life
The
to
provided
like
solution.
them anymore.
Elemental damage bonuses, which can be applied to an
That was the
item
best
as an item
one.
bonus to an unenchanted weapon,
You stop
or
that.
which are an inherent
Stop
component
it
of
right
spellcasting
now.
and spellcasters' weapons. Because an extra 25% of damage is, after all,
How could you say that when the
25% shorter
pizza
of a
one
fight.
exists?
Item
Like,
4.
what?
I just can't stand getting one hit killed by things. It annoys the hell out of me. It makes me not want to play. The provided solution. A myriad
The pizza
of
was so
approaches, ranging from
sweet.
the
Oh,
deep
because of
pool
the
health to
sauce?
heavy armor to
Is
fast
that why
rolling if
you don't like
heavy
it? Because
armor.
the pizza
So many
sauce
approaches can
was
be
sweet?
mixed and matched and blended to provide so much defense that
Yeah.
even in the end game, there was
Okay,
rarely
whatever.
a time that I would ever actually die from a
I'm just
single
kidding.
or even a triple
That's
hit.
valid.
The most
guess.
important thing is not to get
No,
good,
I get it.
it's to identify the ways that you're struggling as specifically as you can, and then use the items
Yeah,
and systems already present in the game. To
I didn't
simply
like the ham.
buttress
I think I got like a
yourself against
few
your own
really
inevitable
gross
mistakes.
pieces of the ham
When you
in
know
the
in advance that you're going to
ham. What
constantly
is it? Like the
screw up
deli
in
meat
a certain
Lunchable?
way,
I don't
you can
fucking
plan
remember what it's called.
around it.
I
And
liked
against
the
that, whereas if you
nachos.
had to
Yes, I
broadly
actually
get
really
good,
liked the
that would be
nachos.
impossible. Games that are truly hard are almost universally inflexible in these ways. They demand perfection. Assuming perfection was required was the biggest reason that I stayed
They were pretty
away
fucked
from Dark
sometimes. I just
Souls
oh,
for
the
so
crackers
many
are
years,
good.
and the biggest shock in actually
Wasn't it like
playing the
American
game.
cheese too? I
The
didn't.
person
American
like
cheese
me
kind
who
of
does
freaked me
heavy
out when I was a
armor mini
kid.
rolls with overleveled pyromancy
I was a little
experiences
scaredy
all the
cat.
same content as the person who does
I think just because we
level
never
1
had
club
American
runs,
cheese at
and
home,
both of
I
us
was
are
like
having fun on
mystified
our
by
own
it a bit,
terms, in our
and it
own
freaked me
ways.
out.
The game is so truly
Oh, it did have
flexible
cheddar?
as to
Okay, that's
accommodate
fine then.
both.
Maybe
The
it
style
wasn't
of
that
play
that freaked me
modulates
out.
the baseline difficulty towards forgiveness, and the style of play that
I am
demands
just a
only the most
baby.
perfectly timed actions. I'm spending so much time on the difficulty conversation this early in the video
Oh.
because for all the differences in the Dark
No, I'm
Souls
just watching
games,
a video
this is the
essay.
thread that unites them.
Yeah.
From here all the way past the end of the trilogy to Elden Ring. This core idea of difficulty being less about broad percentage-driven reductions or inflations
It's
in
weird
enemy health
that
and
Priscilla
damage, but about being
has
able to
like
examine what
dark
you as an individual are finding difficult about the games
eyeliner.
in very
I honestly
minute,
thought she would have like
specific ways, and then being given a lot of tools to try and help yourself through the frustration you're having.
like
That's
white
what's unique.
eyelashes. I think I'm
To
gonna give
play
her
the
white
games in such a
eyelashes
way
though.
as you're
To be
slamming
honest,
your head against the same
I think
situation
that will
over
look
and over
better.
without trying anything new is the only wrong way to play. Instead, think carefully, ask what went wrong, and then
As
clearly and
I'm
without
doing brown eyelashes, you'll
self-judgment,
see I'm
give
gonna
an
add
answer.
it.
Could be, this dude boxed me into a corner, or this boss moves too fucking fast, or I'm just not doing enough damage per swing. If you realize that positioning is a problem, a lower armor with a faster dodge roll will let you more easily reposition. If a boss moves too quickly for you, doing range damage and keeping it at arm's length, or using your own fast weapons to try and stagger it and interrupt its attacks, can be very helpful. If you just aren't doing enough damage, you can upgrade your weapon or supplement your attacks with items
Yeah,
that
white
inflict elemental
eyelash just
damage or
feels
apply
more
elemental
ethereal.
bonuses to the weapons that you have. Get good mentality isn't just counterproductive when appreciating the games. It's counterproductive to actually doing well. It places an onus of fault onto the player, a broad condemnation of inherent worth when that isn't even the issue at play. If you're getting killed over and over, it's not because you haven't gotten good, it's because you haven't gotten specific. Like the moment-to-moment combat, the broad progression of Dark Souls is a dialogue, a call and a response. Rarely ever is getting stuck in Dark Souls a matter of pure skill. It's more a matter of finding the right words, using the language the game is trying to teach you. Get good mentality also completely overlooks how creatively playful and often joking that these games can be. Consider my favorite boss introduction in the game, maybe even the trilogy, the Gaping Dragon. At first, from beyond a waterfall, this snaky little head pops up. That's not the boss, I said to myself, and I was both right and wrong. The little head is just a tendril of the Gaping Dragon's massive, impossible, extremely toothsome physicality. The way the Gaping Dragon moves is absolutely incredible. The teeth, the way it tosses its bulk around the arena, it feels dangerous and weighty and nasty. Every single thing that the design was trying to convey artistically, it conveys mechanically as well. Compared to later dragons or even the earlier optional bridge dragon, the Gaping Dragon isn't really so tough. I struggled with him a lot though. I didn't quite understand the positioning and timings of how to fight something so large, and that is what is so intimidating at first. Where do you even start? How do you get in close? How do you do damage? It's not a fight about numbers, it's a fight about animations. Sure, it's a little shorter with good damage, but on the educational axis which guides Dark Souls 1 boss fight design, the Gaping Dragon is meant to teach a player how to fight a large creature. Slayer is on offer, a needed distraction for the boss, and once you figure out how to fight the boss, he's not tough. The figuring out part isn't even about optimization and perfection, it's just about overcoming fear and overcoming temptation. It's realizing that something so large with so much health is still mortal and enough damage, over time, will bring it down. It's realizing the same rules and rhythms of engagement the game had been teaching you for smaller enemies still apply. Animations are more important than numbers, so there are parts of the dragon's body where he can't reach you, the same way you might not be able to scratch an itch on the direct middle of your back. His teeth, his tail, his claws, all dangerous. All also limited by range of motion and choice of motion by the boss AI. It is, in fact, less dangerous to be closer to the dragon than to be farther away. If it can see you, it can make a plan, it can attack effectively, but if you're constantly darting in between its elbows, then it can't really do much more than thrash at you, which still takes some reflex and presence of mind to avoid, but the Gaping Dragon taught me less about skill than about mindset. Where is it safer to go? What is it safest to do when fighting something 10 times your size? A boss's physique is the first clue. Animations are king. Some bosses might have a move to surprise you or flush you out when doing something like sticking close to an elbow, but one of the most truly impressive things about Dark Souls is in its visual legibility. Not only can you react based on reasonable assumptions about how a thing will move and what kind of reach or speed it has, you should
Thank
react
you,
on those
Rolly.
assumptions. It will very much help you with what reflex component there is to the game. In many RPGs, you're just thinking about statistics. Whose are higher, whose are better. Here, numbers matter more tangentially.
Bye, Rolly.
Imaginative engagement with the present tense of the moment is just much more important. To truly believe you are where you are, doing what you're doing, and then act accordingly to the impulses and the anxieties of that situation. Theoretically, it is brave to fight a dragon from the front. Strategically, it is also foolish. The best place for the player in any given boss fight is wherever and however you are most vexingly inconvenient for the particular way that boss is trying to move and kill you. In the Gaping Dragon's case, that joking introduction is also a hint. He's big, he's scary, but he's also got parts of him that are pretty harmless, and if you can hew close to those parts, you've already gotten the better of him. Dark Souls 1 is a game that rarely explains things to a player directly, explicitly. It's also a game that is constantly directing a player's attention to the right answer anyway, through suggestion, through implication, and also through failure and death. Death is never a hard no. A person can kill anything, any way in this game with patience or skill, or both. But it is often a soft suggestion that it's time to mix up your approach a bit if you do keep dying. Where to go, what to do, how to do it, can be overwhelmingly vague at first in the Dark Souls trilogy. The more familiar you get with the way these games are actually speaking to you, the less vague it actually seems, the more accessible and explicit it reveals itself to be. And that is more true of the narrative than any other aspect. The opening cutscene is actually kind of simple in how it sets up the general mythology and name checks the gods of the realm who you have to fight by the end of the game. It is cryptic and cursory. Like a character's attributes, fragments of the story and the setting's lore don't really amount to much when taken individually. One point of any attribute hardly has any tangible effect, but stack 5 in a row and the results can suddenly be felt mechanically. No one line of dialogue, no individual paragraph of exposition seems to make much sense or add much context. Slowly, though, if you're seeking out these fragments, they begin to accumulate into the shape of something tangible, something fascinating, and all these little disparate tidbits not only grow into an understanding of the world, but also its mysteries and the cosmic exceptions to general rules. It's entirely nonlinear and absolutely chaotic in which threads you're able to follow at any given moment. I only realized I was coming to understand the story when I began answering my own questions about what was going on, when I thought, what is the deal with this? And actually found I had like 2 or 3 possible answers. There's a number of channels on YouTube who have made their name by putting these threads together and creating very in-depth lore explanations, but I have to say that for me, part of the thrill was doing it myself and having incomplete, unsatisfying answers. I'm used to fantasy mythologies being more practical and legible than real-world systems of mythic understanding. Take Dungeons & Dragons. Not only are its gods all named with bespoke domains that don't appreciably overlap, the gods are also arrayed on a vast cosmic wheel that corresponds with the 9-point morality compass of its character sheets. Something like the Elder Scrolls has a little more obscurity and depth to its mythic and religious storytelling, but it is also full of clear, comprehensible events and motivations. Mythology and religion are, in traditional cultures, attempts at understanding the world and its complexities. In fantasy media, by contrast, they're often used to organize the world, to provide direction, and to define its boundaries. Consider, instead, how Dark Souls does it. In the beginning, there was a timeless eternity of gray nothing ruled by dragons and towering trees. All was equal, all was eternal, all was quiet. Then came fire. With fire came disparity, not just a singular Tartarus, but a world bound by death and life, hot and cold, fire and ash. Beings of the void reached into this primordial fire and plucked out the 4 great souls, with which they empowered themselves and built great kingdoms. To populate the kingdoms and serve, humanity was also brought out of the abyss and given form. Their flickering lives were kindling for the 4 lords of fire, and another, who you never see, never fight, and never even hear discussed again until Dark Souls 3, called the Furtive Pygmy. The Furtive Pygmy was given the Dark Soul, the one soul which was partly of fire, of finite existence and burning life, and partly of the abyss, eternal but empty, stagnant, cold. Humanity in Dark Souls is at once a theme, a specific religious concept, a mythic ancestral creature, and a game mechanic. You are not human. You are an undead, a thing of fire, flickering and rising again and again from the ashes. Your fate is to eventually die so many times that life loses meaning, you lose your identity, your memory, the parts that made you an individual. Eternity withers these things, so vibrant in the finite fragility of a mortal existence. In the tutorial dungeon, you're passed down a prophecy that serves as just about the only explicit direction you're given in the game. Oscar, Knight of Astra, gives you the Big Pilgrim's Key and teaches you, quote, "Thou who art undead art chosen. In thine exodus from the undead asylum maketh pilgrimage to the land of the ancient lords. When you ringeth the bell of awakening, the fate of the undead thou shalt know." End quote. You begin your pilgrimage as an emaciated zombie in a lonely cell, without a past, without a present, without even an idea of where you are going, beyond the idea that answers lie in persistence. Thou who art undead art chosen. However, time in the lands of Lordran is broken and slippery. Realities pile on top of each other. You are not unique. Each and every player experiencing the game are different chosen undead. Even the NPCs you meet are often working towards the same ultimate prophesized fate, and as such, you actually have no
I'm watching a Dark
specialness
Souls
to your
essay while
special
drawing
destiny.
on stream.
And as such, your special
drawing
destiny
PRISCILLA.
is not
Oh, that's
actually that
amazing.
special
Thank you.
after all. Most
There's
of
my
this
mood
destiny
board.
go mad, give up, and
Yeah.
go hollow. Only by meeting
You
the
have to
challenges
catch
of
the
the world
fluffy
and
tail.
overcoming these challenges do
Yeah,
you get answers.
but
Your hollowing, however,
maybe
is
I can have
overcome in
it
a less
coming up in
personal
the
way. There
back,
are items called humanity,
like
little black
this.
candle flames with eyes, and consuming them restores your
Hold on,
character
hold
from
on.
a
Like a little
zombie
monkey tail.
to the face you actually made in the character creator.
I
as
actually
well as
think that
activating all
would
the online
work.
components like
I
co-op
think
summon.
that fits the flow.
If you die,
Yeah, I
Like it
think
mirrors the
so.
flow
hollow
of the
again.
other side.
It takes
Yeah.
consuming another item to undo it.
Yeah, wow. You're
What
so
is
good.
Thank
meant
you.
by this? Is humanity good? Is humanity even human in the way you'd commonly recognize? Is humanity a creature, a concept, a game mechanic, or all these things at once? And if so, how does that work? And to this, you really never get a straight answer. Only compellingly
I'm
incomplete
peckish.
possibilities. And in this way,
Peckish.
it feels closer to an actual human religion or mythology than
Thanks,
almost any
Icarus.
mythic frame I've seen in a game. Consider one of the central bedrock teachings of Buddhism, the Four Noble Truths. The first truth is dukkha, the truth of suffering, the fact that existence is pain to some degree. The second truth is samudaya, the origin of suffering, often understood to be a combination of a consumptive desire for fleeting things, destructive hatefulness, and ignorance of
Check
the
the
world
date
as it
on
is.
it. I don't know if it's still
Nirodha
good.
is the third truth,
What's
the
that?
truth of the end of suffering.
It's probably
We are
not still
finite,
good.
flawed creatures with only two ways out.
Actually, I
either
don't think I'm
cyclical
hungry.
death or transcendence
Sorry.
through enlightenment.
Thank you for
The
offering,
fourth
though.
noble truth, then, is the truth of the path out of suffering, the Noble Eightfold
What,
Path,
Benj?
which is the next series of Buddhism's core tenets.
No, your
I'm
bagels
not
are
a Buddhist
amazing. I'm
myself,
just.
and I know only really the most
Shut
basic
up.
things about the religion, but I'm sure you can already see the major contrasts between its religious focus and the focus of most fictional fantasy religions when people set about writing them. Instead of using pantheons to assign different ideas, objects, and events to different thematically appropriate gods, the Four Noble Truths are grappling with the fundamental question of all real-world religions. Why do we hurt? Why are our lives so full of both beauty and pain, and how can we make some sense out of it? In lacking a concrete answer in our concrete reality, it creates a frame within the world of the unseen and supernatural to hang these questions on and set to the work of connecting the dots in ways that feel resonant, true, or meaningful.
27th.
The biggest temptation in creating fantasy
probably
mythologies
off.
and fantasy religions is to actually
He's trying to
create
figure out the
concrete
sour
truths
cream
within the
is
world of the
usable.
setting. And that can be fun, fascinating.
In case
The story of
anyone's
your character
curious
in
about
Baldur's
what's
Gate, for
happening in the
example, and the
background
choice
right
of whether
now.
to ascend to godhood by the end of it or not is one of my favorite fictional narratives in video game history. But it's also fundamentally a separate experience of religion than living people have, a more practical, a more actionable one. This is true to some extent in Dark Souls. You meet the gods, and often you slay them, and the cosmology as presented is demonstrably accurate to the world, but the cosmology is also obviously poetic and
Wait, what's the
metaphorical
expiration date,
to a
Benj?
large degree. And in that allegorically mythic
21st?
way,
Oh, yeah,
reflects back
that's
on our
not-
own even more cryptic universe and its utter lack of concrete
Benji,
answers.
that's not how it
In the
works.
DLC Artorias of the Abyss, your character is sent back in time to the
What if
doomed
I just
city of
tense
Ulisal,
really hard?
a city of beautiful and
He
delicate
said.
lost magics who followed the advice
What if
of
I just
Colonel
iron
Strickland
stomach it?
and opened a
How
gateway
does
to
one
the
iron
abyss, which
stomach?
swallowed the city bit
You can
by
just
bit
turn-
and
you can just
corrupted
will
its
that?
residents into twisted and loathsome
just-
shapes. The DLC's boss is one of the most physically intimidating
Are you
and
done with
impressive
Elden Ring?
monster designs in the entire trilogy.
Wait,
The
genuinely, are
Manus
you?
Of the Abyss,
Okay.
the first to fall into the abyss and become twisted.
Oh, I
by
was just gonna ask if you
maddening
want to hang out on
and
call.
his corruption
You're
is
epic.
fascinating because humanity came from the abyss. In fact, the black candle flames of the humanity item are actually creatures who dwell in the abyss right around Manus, floating quietly toward you and snuffing your essence. When you kill them, they give 0 souls, the only enemy in the game to fail to provide them. because souls and humanity are two different mythic concepts held in a balanced dichotomy, like all the paired concepts in the introductory cutscene. Humanity is that part of us
Be
which is
tense hard
eternal,
enough and become
unchanging, but
past
also flat
tense.
and
Therefore,
stagnant
good once
and
more.
mindless.
That's so good.
It's kind of pessimistic. Humanity in Dark Souls is more like what you'd think of as a soul in Christian thought, the part that is divine and will return to the divine. The souls of the primordial fire are what create difference, personality, the color and the beauty of the living world, the daytime world, the world beyond a monochrome forest of dragons and colossal trees. The reason you have to kill the gods is because they have actually betrayed this cosmological dichotomy. Fire fades, and the age of abyssal darkness is part of a natural cycle. Kingdoms live and die like animals do. They must fall dead and decay.
Hey, Chris, Told Happy 37 months. Thanks for
Lord Gwyn found a way to
resubbing.
stop all of that.
How's it
He and the other
going?
lords conspired to extend this age of fire to keep the status quo going indefinitely, to blur the lines between life and death, beginning and end. And this is why time is broken, and you start the game a zombie. As you gather the souls of enemies, you steal their essence, their individuality. You take from them their animating fire, and you keep it for yourself. Yet without restoring your humanity, you are forever alone with that power. By touching the abyssal anonymity that connects all humans, the online components are enabled, and you can literally share that connection either cooperatively or as a predatory invader. The essence of individuality, of souls, is not enough on its own to make you complete, to reverse the hollowing and restore your humanity. The essence of our humanity is that none of us are different and we are all connected. In your human state, you are mortal, finite. Only one death will revoke your humanity and return the hollowing, shutting down the online elements. Our existence, then, as players and a people, is an interstitial twilight between fire and dark, life and death, individuality and anonymity, an impossible and unsustainable tension between cosmic opposites. And that feels, to me, true and resonant.
Can we switch to a Bloodborne video?
Although the setting is designed around
Bro,
a
we
kind of
waited an hour.
hyper-Gothic
You want to switch
European
now?
aesthetic, Western
No, I'm
thought
super
actually
down to
isn't the
listen
best
to a
angle
Bloodborne
view
video.
the mythology from. What is a sin in this
Yeah,
universe?
clap.
A Judeo-Christian perspective doesn't really offer any helpful answers despite all the cathedrals. It actually kind of confuses the matter. Think back on the Four Noble Truths for a minute, though. An interruption of the natural cycle of life and death locks people into perpetual suffering with no hope of release.
I know,
through
hardly a
either
Dark Souls video anymore. You're not wrong. Alright, let's see here. Just add another video in the corner. Bloodborne. Oh, no, what do you guys want us to do? You want something funny? Funny video essay. What's the link to that video? It's just search Dark Souls. It's Noah Caldwell. I beat the Dark Souls trilogy. All I made was this lousy video essay. It's the first thing that comes up when you search Dark Souls video essay. What are we watching, huh? Oh my gosh, shut up. Shut up, Sarge! I have to pee, actually. Can you guys watch Priscilla? I'll be right back. Can you guys watch my dog? Can you guys watch my dog, please? I'll be right back. Oh my god, my butt hurts! nom, nom. Mango. Dried mango. Dog with the butter dog. I'm Priscilla. Blink twice if you're in danger. Nom nom. Nom 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 nom. I don't know what to put on. Yeah, Talon? That's not what you said in your DMs. Yeah, we can watch some Vati. Or we could watch Quilag. Secret stream, hello. Let's see. Talon DMs says, I get it now why people think she's best girl. What's summoning salt? Oh, my butt hurts so bad. Gosh dang. Want to watch Vati's Elden Ring Prepare to Cry? I haven't watched it yet. Meep, 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 meep. Game theory. Why Mario is a psychopath?
Before the Erd Tree started to die, it was considered to be eternal. And before the Erd Tree, there was the
I fucked up my tree!
A chaotic melting pot of primordial life that served as the
How's the
Erd
audio
Tree's
chat?
primal vital energies. It birthed creatures of feather,
No, it's not
breath,
the same guy. This is...
tail, and
That's
horn.
so funny, though.
Aspects of this crucible were considered to be divine. That is, until civilization advanced. And those deemed misbegotten were enslaved.
It just goes to show that everyone tries
For
to do the
during
same
America's golden
video
age,
essay voice.
Aspects of the crucible were deemed signs of devolution, and those that harbored them, abominations. Many fell omen had their horns excised, and the few that survived were hunted by the omen killers, butchers of twisted conscience.
Pay attention, chat. This is going to be on the quiz, okay?
But then, Godfrey and Queen Marika herself gave birth to Omen twins. If such powers could birth Omen, then could they really be so far from grace? Was the crucible not at the heart of the Erd Tree? Marika's Omen children would not have their horns excised, but they would be shackled far beneath the earth. So close to the Erd Tree, and yet so far. Eventually, Marika's faith in her own golden order waned. The rune of death was stolen. The first demigod was killed, and Lord Godfrey was exiled. Marika would go on to shatter the Elden Ring, spurring her children to action as the lands between lost its blessing.
Same tone, same accent, same manner of speaking. That's so funny. Yeah, I mean, that's really common in like freaking communities online where like people try to do the same exact voice and everything. Is this gonna get struck? Quiet. Actually, video essayists only do that voice when they're really distressed. You might need to take yours outside more. It's a sign that you need to take your video essayist on more walks when they do that voice.
Mikola would attempt to bring peace with his Halig tree,
That's so fucking.
but the other demigods would fight for the shards of the Elden Ring. Godric the Golden would attempt a coup, which failed, forcing him to flee from Leyndell, for a sibling had emerged from the sewers with the right to great power.
Your video
would
essayist
commit
may
a
need to
grave
touch some
blasphemy
grass.
and seek to devour the very gods, just as he had been devoured himself. And Princess Rani, having slain her own flesh, the fate
What?
in her stars halted by Radahn, said to be the mightiest of the demigods, with no one as his equal.
Huh? Sorry,
But
Ronnie was
would
on
journey
screen?
south to challenge him, and though their war scarred the
Sorry.
land itself,
Mommy?
there
Sorry,
would be no
Mommy?
victor. Meanwhile, Mohg would emerge and rip Melania's brother from the Halig tree, taking him far away, to the seat of his coming dynasty. And so, Melania would return, carried on the back of a faithful knight, to find her brother gone, with all the Halig tree left praying for his homecoming. So in the end, there would be no victor, and the demigods lingered, without the will or strength to change their fate. And the Tarnished would return, wild exiles, now led by grace once lost, to break the tenuous stalemate of the demigods. A stalemate held in place by King Morgoth, defender of the Erd Tree, and last of all kings. And as war continues in this broken world, all would ask themselves, Queen Marika, at whom were you so angry? Why?
Honestly, this is why we can't have women leaders. Marika was on her period. She was just feeling a little pissed off that day, okay? You're so right. So true.
Emboldened by the flame of ambition. Someone must extinguish thy flame.
Okay, bet.
Let it be Margit the Fell.
Yeah,
In the
they do
years
tell
since
him.
the stalemate of the demigods, Margit the Fell has appeared like a wraith, preventing Tarnished from picking off his
It's
weaker
pretty
kin.
funny.
Well, thou art of passing skill. Warrior blood must truly run in thy veins. Tarnished.
I was craving some McNuggies. Maybe you would bring me some.
Luckily, Tarnished are no strangers to death, and they will suffer against their foes as many times as it takes.
It's pretty epic.
The Margit we fought here was merely an omen illusion, an extension of the man himself.
Is he a meme? I
whose
don't
true
know.
form
I don't know
resides
anything
in
about
Leyndell, an omen king
Bavati.
who would be despised by the
Besides the fact that
populace
he does these
if his
videos.
true
Aw,
identity
shit.
became known. But now, his only duty is to stop Tarnished reaching the thrones and the title of Elden Lord. In the wake of the shattering, the land itself has been scarred, and the well-traveled roads have all been obliterated. Now, sheer cliffs jut upwards into ominous skies. The land of Leonia is even slowly sinking into a lake. And it's here that we find a man cooking prawn. A blackguard named Bogart.
What are you looking at? You trying to start something, mate?
Yes.
You're tarnished too, ain't you? Can you see it then? The guidance of grace, I mean. I can't see it at all no more. Makes no bloody sense anyway. Why some no-name shithead like me should get called to the lands between. Cruel bloody joke, you ask me. Maybe something went tits with it. Maybe it's been broke for a good long time.
Many tarnished were called back to the lands between, and here their crowns would be warranted by strength and little else. Because, for all its claims to true order, the greater will did not distinguish between the tarnished beckoned by grace. Their thoughts, their ambitions, nothing seemed to matter. And what better example of this
Why does this
is there
music
than
sound
the
like the
Dung
Heavy
Eater?
Rain music?
A legend, yes, but one reviled by the masses, up until the very moment that his grace was returned. Now the Dung Eater torments the city of
You'll hear
Leyndell.
it.
There's even evidence that he tortured someone at the fortified manor, where the true Round Table resides. It's little wonder, then, that his vengeful spirit appears in our hub world, a place that calls to tarnished of all kinds, whether they're legends or otherwise.
I need to warn you about something.
Let's just watch Benji's
A little while
stream,
ago,
or
someone
Sam's
started
stream instead.
lurking in the wing on
And
the opposite
Sam
side
can
of the
get
round
mad and-
table. And I can hear, from all the way over there, the howling and wailing of spirits in fear of a curse. I can even hear the repulsive twisted malice in itself. A plethora of spirits in an unceasing cacophony. I can't even imagine. How much suffering inflicted to who knows how many souls. Not even the grafting caused anything like this to happen. You should keep your distance. I know you're strong, but please.
You'll get what's coming. Have you ever
And this
felt
music's
the curse
spooky AF. What the fuck?
with your whole being? The pox upon life itself. Feared
I'm kind of
and
scared.
despised by
Who
all.
turned on the spooky track?
The reviled blessing.
I'm a little scared.
Apparently not. You are but a lamb.
It's getting
A
kind of
stranger
scary
to
in here.
defilement. Ignorant of your own ignorance. You no longer interest me. Be thankful of the hold serenity. It is all that keeps your death and defilement at bay.
The Dung Eater. He certainly leaves a lingering impression. His sword is fashioned from the backbone of a malformed giant. His armor resembles
They made
an
the Dung
omen, but with its
Eater
horns
disgusting
cut off.
vile being.
His form reflects the
What's a
landscape
Brummy?
of his mind. That is to say, he is suffering, he is persecution. But he only has the mind of an omen. Others are born with the body to match, and are held to be a punishment for making contact with the crucible. They are called
Worst
misbegotten.
accent in the UK.
and
You're
omen,
sounding a little
and
bit
denied
rude right
rebirth
now. I don't know.
via
It's a
poetry.
little bit mean.
For in the lands between,
It's a little
death is
rude,
not
I
the end.
think.
The Erd Tree is not just the dominant faith, it is where all honest souls desire to return. To be removed from the Erd Tree's cycle of death and life, to many, that is the worst thing imaginable. That is the Omen curse. Here, in the fields of the Altus Plateau, a second Omen illusion stands watch, and it was here that a great battle was fought to repel Godric the Golden when he sought to return to Leyndell. And just down the way, Erdtree sentinels grasped torches that were furnished by Morgoth himself to prevent Black Knife assassins from sneaking into the capital. Morgoth gave everything for the Erdtree, only to see a golden light shining in tarnished eyes. And despite Morgoth defending Leyndell against rebellion, blasphemy, and assassination, that golden
Whoa.
light drives the tarnished
That was
to
an
slay
accident,
him.
but it looks kind of cool.
I shall remember thee, tarnished,
Whoa.
smouldering with thy
I
need.
might do something like that later. Looks kind of cool.
Cower in fear of the night. The hands of the fell omen shall brook thee no quarter.
It's hard to go through this world and not question the very grace that guides you. And so it is that many tarnished fall from grace once again.
Who Turn the spooky music
America's
back on.
tits.
America's
be all right.
tits. That's the best line in the game.
Perfect bloody timing, actually. I got
America's
karma
tits.
cooked up fresh. There's something I should probably tell you. You heard of the Dung Eater? He's a madman. Has it out for everyone. Curses them. Goes round in his rank armor and all. You see him though. Stay, well, away. I was in the same jail as him once, so I know firsthand. He's a god-forsaken monster. Not just some petty thug like me. He's a killer. Kills people and curses the souls. Does all sorts of shit to the corpses to keep them cursed forever. I ain't seen nothing more disgusting in all my years. I ever been more scared neither. Rooted to the bloody spot.
This music is very spooky. I don't know how I
To my
feel. Can someone tell Vati to...
And now I see
It's
it
too
here again.
scary.
Never thought I would. What he
Someone
does
tell
to
him
those
it's a
bodies.
little too spooky for
was-
me.
It was him.
Someone call the spooky department.
No question.
It's getting
That
real
monster.
scary time in here.
He's lurking round here.
Despite the danger, Bogart remains just outside of Lane Dell, his humble ambitions delayed by
Who
his
turned up the
fondness for crime.
spooky?
But you
Yeah,
find
what
that
about
inside
Radagon's
the
cock?
past
I'm
layer
saying.
and layer of the city's defense. Isn't it kind of strange that even though the tarnished are guided to restore order, that the very forces of order itself are placed in your way? You wouldn't have met him in your journey, but there is a certain noble who yet remains in the city, a member of House Shaneheit, who makes no effort to hide his prejudice.
Yikes. I
Welcome,
can't do
dear
this. There
guest.
we go.
After being out there, it must be quite surprising to see our capital cradled by the Erd Tree, showered by an eternal wellspring.
Yeah,
of
can you
grace.
tell him to
The
DM with
sights,
them a lot?
the sounds,
Please, it's a
the
little
luscious
spooky.
scents, each precisely as
It's
they
a
should
bit
be,
much.
Each eternal.
It's getting a little spooky time.
Oh, oh.
Listen,
didn't
I
notice
wanted
that
to
you were
watch a
tarnished.
Quilag video, okay?
No,
And chat was
You
like,
mustn't take this
put
the
on
wrong
Vati
way,
Vidya!
but you must leave the capital at once. It is for your own good, I assure you.
Did you guys know Waves
All
edits
things have their proper place.
for the person I
We,
wanted to
having been
watch?
chosen by grace, were given this
Is that an
golden
English accent?
capital.
No. What do you mean?
You, on the other hand, have your own home.
What do you
Which
mean?
is a far cry from here.
What do you mean? Is that an English accent? What do you mean?
So
What does
far,
that mean?
in fact, that it cannot be further marred
does that
by
mean?
your touch.
For all its glory, the city of Landell on the surface is like a thin layer of gold, a coating that can be easily scratched away, revealing the undercity beneath, full of horrors. Here in the sewers, omen are shunned, all for the mere crime of being born, simply because they were born with aspects of the crucible, that same crucible
sorry.
that was once the primordial form of the Erd Tree. If only the people of Landell knew the true identity of Morgoth, the Lord of Grace.
Oops.
who
Oh,
now
fuck.
rules
What did
over
I
the
just
city.
do? Oh my god. What did I just do,
Do you
y'all?
remember, back at
Oh, I
Castle
hate
Morn,
it. What did I do?
that there was a spirit who
I got
feared
rid
his
of my
body
layer
being
tab. I
eaten
don't know how to bring
by
it
the
back.
misbegotten? To him,
Oh my god, dude. Oh, you're doing VR? What are you... Oh my god. I got rid of it. I don't... Huh? Oh no, dude. I hate when... Fuck. Okay, I fixed it. Sorry, it was like a really dramatic response, but like, it's really upsetting. Okay, bye.
there was nothing
Oh shit.
worse than being disgraced in such a way. But nothing is worse than the seedbed curse, which the Dung Eater cultivates upon those that he kills. A tender pox, afflicted with omen horns, that afflicts the host in such a way that it ensures that the curse will be passed on to natural-born children instead, creating an infectious population that will
my
never
God.
know grace.
The voices Benji is making.
No. Wait. You have felt the curse. I can smell it on you. The pox. yet tender. Apparently my seedbed is ripe and waiting. 'Twas a brief respite, I must say. Go and unshackle my corporeal flesh, trapped in the sewer jail below the capital.
And so, whether it's out of fear, or admiration, or sheer curiosity, we descend below to free the Dung Eater. On the way to the Dung Eater's cell are the shunning grounds, where we kill the Omen in the only home that they've ever known.
It's kind of messed up.
Let me out. Let me out of here. Must eat more. Defile more. Everything that matters to you for generations to come. Who are you? I've been here long enough. I will kill again. And defile each corpse with care.
Doing the shared art on Twitter. Thank you, JP.
Just to
Hello.
be sure
Welcome.
that when they're reborn, they'll be cursed.
It's been really fun drawing
Along
like
with
every
their
night.
children
I figured
their
I should be
children's
streaming it
children.
as well.
For all time to come.
I'm gonna leave a stinky poop.
Oh, there you are. Pleased to see you. You must have expunged the Omen from the repository. Otherwise, their
Expunge
revolting
this.
screeches would still be affronting my ears. Well, you've done us a fine service, I must say. The Erd Bishops will be very pleased to hear it.
Our streams are my favorite.
No.
Yeah, they're so chill.
No, this is
I get
above
into
their
such a weird
station.
mood though when I'm
If I
drawing.
explain
Like
that this
I
was
just
all
feel like
my idea,
when I'm in flow state, I
could
say
be
the weirdest
granted
fucking
audience
shit,
with Morgoth, Lord of Grace.
which I guess has its
A
own
wondrous
appeal.
opportunity that a Viscountess myself might be seen by the
Been
Lord
working my
of
way back
Grace.
into my simple art stuff has been
The
easy since my
citizens
main
of
arm got banged
Leyndell
up after
are
catching myself.
complicit
Oh my gosh!
in perpetuating the curse of the Omen.
I hope you're able to heal
With this in
okay so you
mind,
can get
the
back
Dung
into
Eater's
it.
actions almost start to make sense. For the majority of his seedbed curses can be found in Leyndell, amongst the populace that, admittedly, deserves it the most. So there's a reason the Dung Eater is lurking nearby.
It serves me right. Fitting bloody end. For a jumped up little shit with big ideas. Help me out. Would you, mate? I don't want to get
Christ, caca consumer,
Just let me die.
bro.
I don't want to live
That's
like
so
this.
fucking stupid and funny. I hate
anymore.
some of the shit you guys say.
So-
Makes me laugh, and then I get mad because it's so stupid.
Defiled
Why am
by
I
the seedbed
laughing?
curse, Bogart
God
is
damn
severed
it.
from Grace against his will. The Erd Tree rejects his body and soul, and so his grace is lost, just like the Omen. What a curse. What a blessing.
Must eat more. Defile more.
Are we watching Vati right now? Yes, we are. While I just draw. I mean, honestly, I'm not gonna lie, guys. When I draw, it is so hard for me to truly fuck off. Truly pay attention to what I'm listening to. So it's mostly just background noise for me right now, which is fine. I mean, I'm still enjoying it. I just like having something on when I draw anyways. So something looks wrong. I think the eyes are stupid looking or something. Hold on.
Scourge upon the living. I will the pox will truly be your own. One day, you'll get what's coming.
Me to my chicken nugget. Me when that chicken nugget is eating.
All right, mate. Want some more
The
prawn,
dastardly
do you?
doo-doo devourer. Left eye needs to move
Well,
over a
that's someone with a
smidge.
taste for
Wait,
prawn
wait,
contrast. We'd make good mates, I
this
reckon.
one, right? Yeah,
I'll be
yeah,
seeing
yeah.
you.
Thank you. Thank you for your artist eyes. Oh wait, shit. Hold on.
Kill our lord. He is a stain upon all things golden. Kill Morgoth, kingly impostor.
That's a lot better. Oh, you meant the other one? Oops. Does that look better, Alex?
Graceless, tarnished.
Stinky
What is thy business
butthole.
with these thrones?
What do you want? You stinky stinker.
Godric the Golden.
It looks good now? Okay, cool. Thank you.
The twin prodigies, Mikola and Melania.
Do, 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 do. God, doesn't this just make you want to replay Elden Ring?
General Radahn. Praetor Rykard. Luna Princess Rani. Willful traitors. All.
Oh, that's already so much better because of the eye thing.
Thy
we just
kind
suggested.
are all of a piece. Pillagers, emboldened by the flame of ambition. Have it writ upon thy meager grave. Felled by King Morgoth, last of all kings.
Can't remember if this is Vatu's video or the newer one that Rachel did a voice in that he had to cut out, but you could hear the jazz she puts on for her dogs super faintly. That's amazing. That's really funny.
The throne
Rawr.
stained by my curse. Such shame I cannot bear. Thy part in this shall not be forgiven. May the curse seep to thy very soul.
The curse is said to be stirring within you. Of course it is, if you've willingly followed the Dung Eater this far. So that at the end, a new order might begin. It's an ending defined by the curse that the Golden Order brought upon the Omen and brought upon itself. With a dead Erd tree, a pockmarked sky, and a festering population. In his insanity, The Dung
Vabi.
Eater seems to believe that we're his equal. I guess, how else could we hold on to his seedbed curse and fight him off as well?
There you are. You warded off my blessing, despite the curse stirring within you.
What's your favorite ending
No
of
one has
Elden Ring, you
succeeded
guys?
in that before. How? I thought. Then it hit me that you are, in fact, me. And I am the Dung Eater. It is my flesh that must receive the blessing.
Me when she sucked me so good. Just kidding, I'm getting up. I don't think I'll be able to move again, JK. The one with the feet. Yes, that's why I'm drawing Priscilla. Hold on.
An apt reward for thy brash ambition. I see thee, little tarnished.
Just for you. She stick a little foot up for you. She's just showing her little foot for you.
The
Oh,
great ring in
dang!
Morgoth's possession is the Anchor Ring. It is the foundation upon which the others rely. To make it this far, 2 great runes are required, but a third is needed to reforge the Elden Ring. Morgoth's.
Yar.
The other demigods all had what Morgoth was denied from birth: the Erd Tree's grace, a mother, and a fate to call their own.
Damn, that's
But while
savage.
Morgoth was shackled deep below the earth, they threw it all away. So even though he was born a graceless omen child, Morgoth tried to be the Erd Tree's protector. He was never loved, and should never have
Me
learned
when I
love.
take a massive
But
shit.
nevertheless, love the Erd Tree. He did. In death, Morgoth's horns disappear. Perhaps it was one final mercy from the Erd Tree. Too late. But at the Erd Tree, we find our path blocked once more, despite being led here by the Erd Tree's very grace.
Tarnished. Thou art but a fool. The Erd Tree wards off all who deign approach. We are all forsaken. None may
Yeah, Talon, I really like that ending, and I think they could make a DLC potentially branching from that
thy
ending.
deeds shall be met with failure, just as I.
Tarnished, you dumb bitch!
Give me your blessing. Defile my flesh with the seedbed curse. Again and again. Until it is done. Until a cursed ring coalesces that may one day defile order itself. Countless I have killed. And countless I have defiled. And soon the fruits will be born. Hundreds will be reborn cursed. And they'll bear thousands of cursed children, who bear tens of thousands more. A few of those will be born just like me. And they'll kill and defile and bless in my stead the rotten fools. My fate was the grandest, most brilliant of them all.
Unleash it upon them! A curse blessings to war!
Is he kind of edgy, do you think?
The creation of this mending rune requires someone to defile the defiler, creating a story that can be used to mend the Elden Ring, codifying these words of defilement, into order itself. This mending rune of despair only exists because of the hatred inherent in Marika's Golden Order. It makes you wonder, why did it have to be this way? Why did Marika demonize the Crucible?
It's been a long while, Morgoth.
That brief moment of tenderness between father and son raises some questions. Was Morgoth, at some point, shown love? How did Godfrey, leader of the Crucible Knights, feel about the Golden Order's scorn of the Crucible? We may never know.
Wait, how did this?
Long and hard didst thou fight, tarnished warrior, spurned by the grace of gold. Be assured the Elden Ring resteth close at hand. Alas, I am returned.
Hi, P. What the fuck? How does this match up?
To be granted audience once more. Upon my name as Godfrey, the first Elden
A little bit
Lord.
left front, is it mirrored? Okay, so show this matched up to everything else.
Of this kingly folly.
Looks like a lot of it is mirrored. Very confused. I'm so confused.
A true warrior thou art.
All failed to stop you. In the end, a champion for the Omen, the Misbegotten, and despair.
Oh, Pega, I'm sorry. I hope everything's okay. Or I hope everything ends up being okay for you.
Curse you, Golden Order. One day, you'll get what's coming.
Originally, those born of the Crucible were considered to be divine. That is, until civilization advanced, and those deemed misbegotten were enslaved. But then they fought, reveled in their accursed identity, and so a new order was created, one born entirely from the prejudices of the Golden Order that came before. Now, all are cursed, and for every curse, a cursed blessing.
The fallen leaves tell a story of how a tarnished became Elden Lord. In our home, across the fog, the lands between. Our seed will look back upon us and recall the reviled curse that defined our age. The blessing of despair.
Special thanks, everybody. All right, what now, chat? Should we put something funny? A funny video. Funny.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. The screenshot talent just sent me. Fucking hell. Oh my god. Hi, Ricky. My update next stream. I don't like being all vague. Oh no, it's okay, Pega. No worries. Take your time. How do I find? Link me. Link me. Link me. Link me. Oh. Can't decide if I like the graphic lines on the hair. Might lighten them. Oh my god, Germa. Is it legal to watch Germa compilations? There you go. Germa compilation. Germa clips I enjoy very much too. This most recent. Okay, cut. I click.
Alright, bestiary.
Okay, hold on. Here we go.
Alright, bestiary number 4. Fire monks, let's go. Here we go! So, the connection between the fire monks and the god slayers seems a little bit random at first, especially with them all
self-promo, hell yeah!
To the god slayer brotherhood. After all, the only thing that the god slayers and the fire giants have in common is the concept of fire itself, but there are multiple different kinds of fire in the game, and I've always assumed that they were separate based on their affinities. However, if you check Melena's Blade of Calling, it is a dagger given to one who set out on a journey to fulfill her duty long ago. The power of its former owner, the Kindling Maiden, is still apparent. The one who walks
the hair shadows are a little
flame
too dark in
shall one
contrast
day
to
meet the road of dust and death. This comes as no surprise, as it's the fire giant's forge that takes us to the floating mausoleum Faramazula, a temple
this
covered in
editing
statues of the twin birds, which are the envoy of the outer
oh my
god,
god,
Death.
yes.
There's also the instance in the game where you can find a painting called the Flightless Bird, which is painted from the heights of the windmill village Dominula, which is where the god slayer likes to hang out, and it's a painting of the capital of Landel, which then, if you solve the puzzle, gives us the incantation Fire's Deadly Sin. So there's this relationship between birds and the death of the Erd Tree. In eras before Erd Tree death, there were the Deathrite birds, which were birds that would also burn the bodies of the dead in their kilns, and that was also another way to process death. There's also beings known as the Mushroom Lords who could potentially engage in entropy back in those early days. So it makes sense that when the fire monks defect to the God Slayer Brotherhood, that they then accompany them to spots of significance. So the God Slayer that is in the Divine Tower is protecting the Glomide Queen's sword, and the God Slayer that's present in Rykard's.
All of
little
Rachel's tweets make me
volcano
want to
manor. He's
replay
accompanied
Elden Ring
by fire monks as well.
and Dark Souls.
This link between death and fire and the death of the gods and the death of the Age of Gods is absolutely similar to the story of Ragnarok. It's an interesting one. And yeah, thank you for watching. Okay, bye.
Hell yeah. Just the fucking thumbnail was so good on the next video. Okay, we're gonna do Jeremy clips. Jeremy. Didn't I do it, Jeremy? I love the editing.
In a past life, he was himself. If opportunity knocks and he's not home, opportunity waits. He gave his father the talk. He is the most interesting man in the world.
So
I don't
stupid.
always drink beer, but when I do, I prefer Dos Equis. Stay thirsty, my friend.
What the fuck? I've never seen that clip.
Do Jack Sparrow? My career is over. I'm ending my career. It's over today. Boomerang sucks. Get rid of it. All right, I'll get rid of the boomerang. Okay, it's a boomerang. My favorite.
That was so stupid.
Who cares? Who cares? Stop asking questions like that. Who gives a shit? It's Tails, I guess. King enemies of the Stonehelm Guards will make the main objective impossible. Don't do it. Don't fucking tell me what I can and can't do. Oh shit. If I was an animal, what animal do you think I would be? Serious answers only. A rooster. A rat. A rat. A rat. A rat. You'd be a rat. Derby, you're a rat. You'd be a rat. I think you'd be a rat. I think I'd be a wolf. I think so too.
Me too, bud.
I would be a wolf-lion hybrid mix. King of the jungle.
Jungle?
Social with it.
King of the jungle.
Why do you guys look? I don't know if okay. You might be like the younger generation. Let's be like an old fucking person here. Might just be me.
God, King
might
of
just
the
be the fact that
jungle.
I'm a very very elderly person. But I mean, really here. What's going on? What's going on with like all this dumb shit that you guys think is cool? It's gonna be legit.
King of the jungle.
Which one do I pick? I'm not sure. Which one do I pick here? Here we go. We're gonna go with win. Oh, shit. A bit chunky. Give them another bash. My blood wasn't green. Go to it. Why is this implying that I had green blood? I don't have green blood. Please beatbox the Splatoon 3 theme. I don't.
Why does he break into it so
I don't think I
seamlessly?
can do it.
Oh my
This
god.
is like Angry Birds. What? What is this? What is this? Why does this exist? This is magic powers.
This is the reveal of the brand new map for Among Us. Check it out, crewmates.
Oh, God. This map looks pretty sus to me.
So dumb.
Please put on a different Lego headpiece. I don't like this one. My little sister's afraid of you. Why is your little sister watching this stream? Does your little sister hate me now? I've got somebody here. Come on over here.
Hello, it's me, Elmo.
Oh my
Hey, Elmo.
fucking
What are
god.
you doing here?
Well, I want to teach everybody some sharing and how to share your milk.
Well, yeah, you should share. You should share your milk. You should share your toys. You should also share, your toys with your brother and your friends and your sister. Thanks for showing up and telling everybody that, Elmo.
What the fuck?
No problem, Mr. Noodle.
That's not me. I'm not Mr. Noodle. You fucking dumb puppet motherfucker. 24? See, I told you I can do this. You guys didn't think I could fucking do this shit. I have very fast poke and find fingers. Scrambled
fingers.
eggs. Oh, you need to put a fucking bunch of other letters in here. Drink. Doctor afflictions, huh? My stomach is really bothering me lately, and I'm fucking my hat. I'm making a food pyramid for you guys because I think a lot of you guys might have a little bit of unhealthy, non-nutritional shit in your life. I mean, a lot of my diet is like mayonnaise. I probably eat as much mayonnaise as I do green vegetables.
What the
I'm gonna write
fuck?
mayonnaise / condiments.
How can you admit that?
I don't eat that much mayonnaise, do I? Okay, here's the thing I have to ask. Do I eat more mayonnaise than I do fruit? Yes. I absolutely eat more mayonnaise.
Ew, what the fuck?
I eat a banana like maybe 2 or 3 times a week. I put mayonnaise on everything. Somebody said just eat a handful. It'd be so fucked up. You'd probably have like a fucking like mental breakdown. It's not designed for that. Eat a handful. It would be fucking disgusting. I'm kind of curious. Let's go.
What did he just eat?
It's like hamburger meat. It tastes like hamburger meat.
Ew.
In my tuna, my fish, I have mayonnaise. On my turkey sandwiches, mayonnaise. In my aiolis, mayonnaise. Every day. No wonder you're so sick. No, I definitely just eat I eat more mayonnaise than fruit. I eat more mayonnaise than dairy. I eat more mayonnaise than flour and bread.
Why is he saying
I don't
mayonnaise
eat
like
all
that?
these other things. I eat mayonnaise. This is definitely.
He's got a problem, dude.
Is it one house? How do you get your trash out here? This is like 100 miles away from your driveway. Can you imagine lying on the couch with no pants on? Just being like, I gotta take the trash out. How do you consume that much mayonnaise? This is my weekly pyramid. This is not my daily pyramid. This is like my weekly. Fuck, that's a lot of mayonnaise. What is it? Fuck that. Watch this. Ready? Everyone looks like that. Okay. All right, let's go. Let's continue. I shouldn't have fucking looked at the preview. I'm not gonna pretend, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, this is gonna be for real. This is what do you think my number one source of food was for a long time? Fried chicken. Whether that's chicken sandwich, whether that's chicken strips, whether that's just chicken that's been
Germa laughing at car accidents compilation.
Fuck. Mom, don't watch.
Sounds so fucked up.
She's gonna be like, what? I raised him on a mayonnaise diet.
Oh, there's NPCs that are going to be on this blimp. They're called IO soldiers. They're not real characters, but they can dice you up.
Doesn't look like we have too many people here with us.
Nice.
There's at least one other player for sure.
Where is?
Oh, wait, what? This is what you were supposed to eat. You got bread, cereal, rice, pasta. Should be. This is 40% of your entire diet. Mayo is at the top.
Secret drawings? Yeah, I might make this a regular thing. This is Germa. He's a streamer.
By the way,
I'm pressed after that last one. I'm not
He's a funny guy.
for those of you that don't know,
that was fun. That was fun, bro.
for those that don't know,
Honestly, yo, you guys had a good lead for a minute. I was like, oh, fuck.
I'm the
this is
sus
nice.
guy.
Yeah, man.
We're up by what, like 30, 40?
For those of you that don't know,
prone in the back of the fountain.
I'm the sus guy. I'm fucking muted, guys. Relax. It's a joke. What? What is this thing? It's a jet. They put jetpacks? That's insane. Okay, that's real. This is cool.
Why was that so funny? Why?
The only thing I remember from Arcane was.
Oh my god, why was that so funny?
Oh, the misery.
Oh no, not this.
Every single person is my enemy. That's all. That's the only thing I know. I don't know anything else. And the song goes. Oh, the. What? Where are you? What the fuck?
Oh, Jesus Christ. Where's my mouse? Oops.
Imagine Dragons, they have that formula down. They have that.
No, why are there so many videos of him talking about
I get exhausted. I can't. My brain
my
goes like, all right, man,
God.
that's enough. There's no humans are supposed to be doing this. You know what fucking humans are supposed to be doing? Humans are supposed to be fucking picking up like a wheelbarrow full of like logs and just like slowly walking with it, and delivering those logs to the community. And then like those logs are used to build houses.
Is he talking
And then there's also like a baker and like a butcher. And no, humans aren't supposed to be doing what we're doing right now. Humans aren't supposed to be doing this. Like we're supposed to be like, oh, howdy, how are you? Good to see you. We're not supposed to be like. I've even moved the thing. What? I even moved. Oh, whatever. Skill issue. I'm too busy like doing like.
I tried to save you, Germa.
Everything's an enemy, my enemy.
Jesus Christ.
No.
So true, bestie. So true.
We're gonna do some fucking Donkey Kong 64, Donkey Kong Country, Ape Escape gameplay. Remember when you did this shit in Donkey Kong? You thought I was gonna fall. You fucking stupid fucking people. We're good?
Keep an eye on it. You have to salvage.
Destroy the laboratory. Oh! Second, let me get. Oh, wait a minute. Let me get Diddy Kong out of this thing. Yeah, there he is. Hold on a minute. Oh, I lost a life. It's okay. Diddy Kong's in this barrel. I'll fucking drown, you little monkey. You know, I made it like a Wallace and Gromit joke in a previous stream, but this guy just is Wallace. We just need to play, hold on, where is it?
Just hear Benji in the background.
get disappointed when things don't go correctly, and I have problems. But you know, this show must go on. You know what I mean? I get good dental. Yeah, I get real good dental at my job. Whoa! Oh, oh, that was his arm.
Benji going through it. True.
Oh, just another day in Gromit Town.
Kate was known to be a free spirit with a nihilistic love of danger, which may, in part, have something to do with a business course called Atlas.
Oh, wow.
Which many have suggested border on mind control.
Oh, mind
Ryan
control.
is married to
That's where we're
Rebecca,
getting real weird.
landlady of Edenton's village pub, the George and
Why
Dragon.
the
As
mouth
yet,
cam?
She hasn't been interviewed, though it's likely Kate visited the pub on more than one occasion. One of Kate's friends was Emma Bowman, who lives at Eden Lodge on the road leading out of Edenton Village.
Such a
Emma was
stupid
also
fucking
doing a
bit.
PhD at the same university, but didn't attend Atlas. Interviewed after Kate's death, Emma seemed shocked and upset, insisting she
Watch, we're gonna be making all these jokes, and then he's gonna pull it out. and
Let's
it's
go
gonna be like a
golfing.
Bone shooting through. Oh, Gromit, things are...
I don't think I like the lines on it. Let's
Detective
get rid of
Inspector
them.
Jenks, I'm investigating an incident in the village. Could I come in and ask you a few questions, please?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you can. Come on in.
We can just go through here if you want. Emma's working in the front room.
Hi.
Hi.
Such a stupid bit.
What a fucking terrible fucking Wallace and Gromit episode. Morning before school, you're gonna be mad because you didn't take a bath.
Oh my god, this fucking game. It's like the dumbest thing ever.
What the? Why? Why? Oh, he's getting zonked on stream. So the winner of the best accident.
How do I make her boobs look more like boobs, chat?
suited.
I think they have too much texture. Maybe I need to make them like.
Best accident was you.
Oops. Where is that?
Another stomp on the back there by the VR guy. Whoa! What is going? VR guy, I think was just in the middle of a flight simulator. This is supposed to be a scary game. It's gonna happen again. We're on ×2 speed. Talk about you being the sus guy? What are you talking about? What do you do? Hey, by the way, just in case you don't know, I'm the sus guy. I think that would be like a, okay. Like, who cares? What are you talking about? Well, I lost the tournament, but I'm the sus guy. I get to keep that? That's what I get to keep with me? That's like a double loss. I think I'm gonna die on camera. I think I'm gonna die on camera.
Oh, so funny.
I gotta get like 5 to come out at the same time. Guys, we're gonna meet aliens one day, and it's gonna be such a disappointment. There's gonna be a puddle on the ground with a face that just goes like, and that's gonna be the extent of our alien contact. This is gonna be so disappointing. I'll get it. I can't even fucking imagine why you would have to do this.
No, real Germa. I'm real Germa. Don't put
All
me as,
right.
like,
Is there anything
weirdo
else
or
I should
psycho
add?
Germa.
I'm starting to
No,
feel like it's
real Germa.
reaching
That's
its
what I am.
finish point here.
He saves all his production value for the big streams. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. What production value?
The killer. Hopefully I can just relax and...
We want albino eyelashes.
Of
Are you
course,
fucking kidding me?
Liam didn't
Maybe
do the
not.
laundry or clean. I'll have to do a load of laundry.
What are you...
I have an interview for a job tomorrow and have nothing to wear.
Those! No, I'm doing the thing. I'm doing the thing, that fucking meme. I actually just did it. Whatever. I don't care. Let's go.
Well, you see, Mr. Alien, we've got these two people, and they have intercourse with each other on this device that you've been shown before, and it's a means to excite the watcher.
What's
Oh,
that?
okay. That makes perfect sense to me, I guess.
Oh, good. That's not all. You see, also, there's a ton of other things.
White bottom lashes,
that
good
people
idea.
find to be in that same realm of procreatable intimacy. It's not just that. There's a lot of stuff.
What could you possibly mean? Procreation is procreation.
Yeah, I like
You
the
not
white
entirely.
bottom
You
lashes.
know, I'm sorry, Mr. Alien. You see, some people. All right, I'm done. I'm done. Hold on, let me just get over this real quick. Let me just get over this. Okay? We're gonna get over this. Just bear with me while we go through these.
Oh my god.
Okay? Very nice.
Do we like the addition of the white lashes?
Yes, absolutely. Okay.
I think I just drew
I think
one.
that's BB-8,
two
or whatever the character's name is.
I don't understand you, and what's the point of 30 people being in this room? Well, I mean,
Very nice. It's a pretty good website if you're looking for news or How did you? What? Okay. That one's kind of big.
That one's kind of big.
Uh-huh. This one's... But why are these so... Like,
Mood
who
board.
cares? This is like...
Yeah, I really like how this turned out, guys.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but Las Vegas is fucking cool, okay? I'm sorry. Me pointing at the Las Vegas sign is not me pointing at the Reddit sign, because Vegas is fucking cool. I love this place.
Now, here comes the
So,
fun part.
Excuse
one
me?
of my favorite parts. Just messing with the contrast and stuff.
So stupid. If you don't know what hamburger... This is what it looks like. It doesn't look like that. What'd you think, Miku? Did you like what I did? Did you like me? Did you like what I did? Okay, just do it normally. Oh yeah, bye. See you later. Good wave.
What the fuck?
Wait, I've already done this. What do you mean? Hold on.
Oh, that kind of looks so cool.
A classic.
Oh my god.
Do this?
I know that's like not, maybe just a little bit.
This is
It
from-
almost makes
this
it like
from years ago.
rainbowy. It's super cool. Gradient maps, no. I don't even know how to do that.
Hot air balloon. I didn't actually do this, did I? I fucking did.
I kind of like the rainbow.
This is before
This is
anybody even gave a
without,
shit
this is
about
with.
this.
I kind of like that a lot.
This actually was from like 4 years ago.
Iridescent, yeah. She's like an opal. It looks so pretty.
Whoa! Whoa!
I kind of love that.
Meow! Meow! Yahoo!
Wait, something about her jaw is bothering me real quick
Jeremy
last
Albertson.
minute, unfortunately.
AKA the actor of Super Mario. But you know what's not Yahoo? And what's not cool? Drugs and alcohol.
What the fuck? Oh my god, that knock felt way too real. I did not like that.
Hey, what's up? How are you? Yeah, I just moved in. Yep, new to the neighborhood. Me. I love your house. I love what you're doing here. You know what I mean? I love this house. Really, really beautiful lawn you have too. Yeah. I got kids. Yeah, we all get kids, right?
No.
It might sound weird, but if you ever want to hang out and just kind of do something, just you and me or whatever, we'd have to get the families together, whatever. That's fine. Like I would come in your house.
No.
I'd come over your house. And you'd let me in, right? Like I would come, we'd do a thing. Would you be interested?
No.
Ant-Man uses ants. He does? I don't... Alright, who cares? Who cares?
There,
He
I think that's
controls
better with
ants?
the jaw.
He controls ants? No, he doesn't. He does like quantum physics. Wait, so you're telling me that in the movie, Ant-Man at some point goes like this, and that millions of ants do his bidding? Have I just forget the whole movie?
Jesus Christ, what is this?
Giant enemy. Don't remember. No, he doesn't fucking do
Penis
that. He does not go.
hold on.
No,
Let's see,
you're
what else
sorry,
can we
guys.
do?
You're thinking of what was that movie with the guy that controlled the rats? Willard? You're thinking of Willard. That happened. That's a different movie. He rides an ant. What? I think it's a good time to bring this up. So somebody had a submission to Green Screen Movie Night, and they were like, "Oh, dude, is this okay?" And we're like, "Oh, yeah." I was contacted by one of the mods that said, "Hey, so somebody made this green screen edit. It's way longer than 3 minutes. It's in fact the entire movie, The Truman Show, the whole runtime of the entire film. But you are replaced in every
Just a clip
single
of him
scene."
slapping himself.
And it's like, well, no, we can't do that. First of all,
What's this do?
First of all, I can't do that. And second
Oh,
of all,
whoa.
why?
Whoa, I've never messed with this setting
Where are the
before.
ants?
Oh my god, that makes it look so cool.
There's
I
no
don't know
ants.
why. I kind of really like that. Chat, why do I like that? It looks cool.
Okay, hold on. Did I not watch this one? Did I only watch the sequel? I don't remember him breaking into places and stealing stuff.
What do you want me to do? I want you to break into a place and steal some stuff.
I never watched this one.
To become a hero.
I only watched the sequel.
Now, the suit has power.
Me when I'm photoshopping my pictures. Look at this. Jesus.
And these are your greatest allies.
What the fuck? Dude, I never watched this movie. I've never seen this movie. I've never seen this movie. Holy shit, I was so wrong. Oh my
I don't know
God,
why. I
was
kind of
wrong.
like.
He controls the ants.
I don't.
He's
It just
Ant-Man.
adds like
Of
so
course
much
he is.
texture. I don't know. Anyways, hold on. I just saw something I want to change.
I love how both doors are just open. All right, we're going for the Mario Kart skip.
Oh.
It kind of like looks like me. Wait, what did I? How did I do that? Is this a DreamWorks character?
I think we should just leave it as is, personally. Like, I feel like if I keep monkeying with it, it's gonna, I'm gonna fuck it up or something. Or like, you know, it's one of those things where I could probably play around with it forever, but there.
I got to warn everybody here though.
Make the jaw outline a little bit more wide.
I haven't really played very many of them, so it's about hour number like.
All right, what should the caption be on Twitter, chat?
I died to the first boss.
What's something relevant to Priscilla?
Stuff, and combo moves together. People are telling me I need to equip something called like the Estus flask. I don't know what that
Feet,
is. What's
right?
your
That
favorite
should be the
game of all
caption.
Favorite game of all time?
Yeah.
Hide the sausage.
What the fuck is that? Turns are just so all over the
Feet
place.
in thread. foul.
You know what would be great?
Love it.
If I put one goddamn
Grip
other
tears
trait
every
in
41
fucking
months. Secret
vitality.
stream.
And instead
Where's the
I have-
goblin
I
mode
have
breed?
the
I
same
know. I
amount of
don't have that on
vitality
this new
that you
PC.
start with as the naked guy. Is that a fresh wild apple? Are you serious? Where is this? That's a
Should I add
fresh,
some like
wild
lines
orange.
like this to the hair? Because I kind of like the contrast of like how soft and flowy it is with some like
A wild onion?
maybe
shit,
not.
that's awesome. This is
No,
wild
I think it's
fruits and
better without.
vegetables. I feel like you
I think the lines just on like the neck area really help it pop,
Like you're
or the
surrounded
face.
by like agriculture and oxygen, and not like
My final stream ever. Stop. What the fuck?
surrounded by wild onion trees. Yo, let's get. Oh, yo. How are these guys?
Save it.
Get me out of the game. Get me out. Get me out now. When are we gonna get out of the tech demo stage of VR? I know
Alright.
every VR.
I think I'm done. You want to see it? I just
Yeah.
finished. I'm still streaming, but
Okay, good to know. Oh, that's wonderful.
thank you.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Did you know that she's a liar, though?
She's a liar?
Yeah.
Why is she a liar?
She says that the inhabitants of the painted world of Aramis are kind.
She's a bitch.
They are infested blood fiends that spew their icky oozes all over you.
She's a bitch.
She's maybe evil inclined for sure.
She's definitely that bitch who got the
But you
feet.
drew her amazing.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations on being a good artist.
Oh my god, thank you. Alright, gamers, I'm gonna go post this on Twitter. But that's it. Thank you for coming to my secret art stream. It was 2 hours and 31 minutes. Not bad. Did we enjoy? Do we like the concept of me doing secret art streams where I frickin' I don't say anything about it and I don't do webcam and it's just a little Easter egg? Do we like it? More of these? Okay, cool. It's a fun time. It's just like, if I'm at my desk anyways, why wouldn't I just go live, you know, kind of vibe. So, all right. Okay. All right. I'll see you guys later. Have a good Friday night. Take care. Goodbye. Thanks for hanging out.